Good morning! Welcome to Sewing Street. I'm John Cole Morgan, and look what we've got for you at 9 o'clock. Very excited about today's shows. We've got Cara Ackerman in. I'm so excited. But over and above that, we love having you here nice and early in the morning because we always like to bring you a little treat. Today is no different. We have got 2.5 meters of this absolutely gorgeous coloured fabric. This is the peacock fabric today. You're getting 2.5 meters for £13.96. You're going to be saving £3.49, which is the equivalent of half a meter. And the great thing with this is I'm going to try and open this up because there's no way I'm going to be able to get this all on air to be able to show you just how big it is. But look at this. This is enormous, and I'm not even going to attempt to fold this back up again. But now, we're all looking for backings for quilts. Can I just do this very quickly? Look how beautiful this works with that. It absolutely works brilliantly. There's 2.5 meters here, so that's just a huge sum. So 2.5 meters, that's 100 inches one way, 42 inches the other way. That is just huge. You could do a 60-inch quilt with that very, very comfortably. 60-inch? Maybe 50 inch. Sorry, my math's not very good in the morning, because if you cut this in half, that's 1.25 meters. Sew it together. Yeah, you could easily do a 50-inch, 60-inch quilt with that. It's absolutely brilliant. Huge, huge, huge quantity of fabric, and I'm going to try and fold this up again. But that's it in a quarter. That's a quarter of it. That is what we'd equivalent to a fat quarter of this fabric. And the colour, oh, I just adore this colour. It is so good. You can just see, and it works with virtually every project you're doing. Blue was Colour of the Year. Was it Pantone who did Colour of the Year? Pantone chose blue as the colour of the year. And just look at how much you're getting. 2.5 meters of that. Really, really amazing. And the price, £13.96. Absolutely stunning value. Great, great quality, and such a beautiful, beautiful colour. And seriously, for backings of quilts, this is really, really helpful in doing that. But even if you're just looking for building your stash, at that price, getting 2.5 meters of fabric, such a great deal on that. And it's a really great colour you would use for virtually every project. Just adding it to your stash would be a great investment in that as well. Don't forget, today we've got our one-day P&P, $3.95. So if you get this into your basket, you can then you've paid your postage and packaging for the whole day. So you can check out as many times as you like. I'm actually just looking at this and I'm wondering, would this work with the pink as well? I think it really would. Loads of options. Now, if you did wanted to buy 2 of these will come pre-cut at 2.5 meters. So if you wanted to get 2 of these would come as 2. Well, actually, looking for a backing, that would be 100 inches by 80 odd. That's a huge piece of fabric, getting 2 of these. And that would be costing you, I'm going to try and do the math, less than £28 for that enormous amount of backing for a quilt there. Absolutely stunning, really great quality, wonderful, wonderful colour. I'm just madly in love with it. I think it's great. We're going to leave this over here just there because I love that colour. Really, really lovely. Now, if you haven't shopped with us before, best way of doing that is on our website, www.sewingstreet.com. Failing that, you can call our UK-based call centre, 0800 001 4433. And if you want to get in touch with us today, we would love to hear from you. We love to be able to share your messages on air as well. Best way of doing that, we've now got a studio email address, which is studio@sewingstreet.com. Failing that, you can reach us on our Facebook page. We've got 2 ways of doing that. You can do our Facebook page run by the studio, which is Sewing Street TV, which is a page, and you'll have a little message button on there. Otherwise, do post things on our social media, the Sewing Street fans page. Great resource there. Amazing, amazing makes. Some very, very talented people. And we pick our make of the week throughout the week. That's now been reset. So Vicky, Debbie and I are looking for our make of the week for the week ahead. And the winner of the make of the week gets free postage and packaging on the next order. Don't forget, tomorrow's Debbie's birthday. So Debbie, happy birthday for today. I hope you're having a great day. So we've got so much in line with you, in store for you today. I think we've got a slide, is that right? Oh, we're going to do a VT on how to shop with us.
Shopping with us couldn't be easier. If you want to shop online, then you can head to our website, www.sewingstreet.com. It will redirect you to our sister channel Jewellery Makers landing page. Don't worry, you haven't gone to the wrong place. We're simply using their website temporarily while we're building our own web shop. Scroll down past the Watch Live part and you'll see all of the products that you will have seen on air on today's live show. You can also shop our catalogue by clicking a category, clicking a product to view closer, and adding it to your basket. Once you're ready to check out, you will need to create an account, which is absolutely free to do so, but it will mean that you can check out on as many orders as you want throughout the day with still only paying one postage and packaging. If you'd prefer to speak to somebody in our UK-based customer service team, then you can do so via the free telephone line number 0800 001 4433. They will not only help you create an account, but will also help you with any of your online shopping.
If you love sewing, then you need the UK's favourite sewing magazine. Every month, you'll receive exclusive patterns. Follow simple step-by-step guides suitable for all skill levels to make your own stunning clothes, accessories and more, together with inspiring tips and tricks from industry experts. Join in and discover your love for sewing. Try Love Sewing today and get your first 3 issues for just £6.
And welcome back. We've got the lovely Cara. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, it's so nice to meet you.
Oh, it's lovely to meet
I feel
you
like
too.
I know you because I've been watching.
Kind. Well, I've been looking at all your makes. You're fantastic.
Thank you.
It's lovely to have you.
Oh, it's so good to be here.
Wonderful. So what have you got for us today?
Oh my gosh. We've got a wonderful fat quarter book.
Fabulous.
And there's lots of different designers in there, and they've got lots and lots of different makes. But I'm actually doing Betty Bird today.
You're doing that little one over there.
This little one
So
over here.
Adorable.
I'm not a patchworker, I'm not a quilter, so I love trying different things. So to actually sort of have the chance to do triangles was quite a challenge.
I have to say, as a starting project, I'm not sure I'd do isosceles triangles, but you did really well.
Oh, I'm learning.
You're doing
But this
very
book
well.
is fantastic. There's just so many. I mean, I would have made anything from here, and you've got lots and lots of projects.
So the book is called 50 Fat Quarter Toys, Easy Toys Sewing Patterns from Your Fabric Stash.
Yes, and what's wonderful in the bundles that you've got today, you'll have some fabric left over, so you'll be able to make Betty Bird, but you'll also be able to make some of these other items as well. So, and even a little play mat, and definitely a stash buster. Just
We all need a stash.
really,
Ooh,
yeah.
Look at that fabric
Yes,
there.
yes. So some fantastic things. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to get the chance to do some of the other projects. All the templates and everything are at the back of the book, and that's very easy to either photocopy or trace. I think I photocopied and then I transferred it to card.
Right, okay.
So that if I wanted to make more of her, I could do. But all the patterns, you know, I would say about a third of the book is all the templates and everything. There's all instructions about doing different embroidery stitches there. There's the Betty Bird one. There's a couple of pieces that you need to join, so when you photocopy it, you need to join them up. But it is just lovely. Even little skittles, and you'd make a ball, you know, so you can play skittles.
So I'm going to start from the beginning here. We've got the busy book. We've got loads of different things in here. Have you done felt applique before?
Yes, yes.
Oh, I've never done that.
Oh no, it's lovely. I love applique.
Oh, look at that. Oh, this beautiful taggy blanket. Anything that's got a giraffe in has my full attention. And you've got all these ring stackers. Oh, I love these, because I think nowadays most people do these with plastic.
I know.
And I
it's so
love
nice
that they're being able to do these in fabric,
Yes.
because it's just much more environmentally friendly. Oh, a lovely little patchwork mat.
And some of the little characters as well. There's some
so
bees.
cute. So you've made Betty Bird.
Yes.
Oh, look at the dancing ballerina.
Isn't she gorgeous?
Oh, and look at that
For the
little gold
net.
feet. And I love the fact you're using your stash, because you've got
Yes.
little, if you want to give her a nice little pump of shoe of
Yes.
some kind, you've
You've
got that
lots
available
of little
there
bits,
as well.
you know, left over in your
and
stash.
a gingerbread man. Oh, wow, what's he?
Like a little robot.
Bits and blocks robots. Oh, I love that. Hunky Monkey. Oh, that's adorable. Monty Bear. Oh, I love those. Oh, is there a pattern for that as well?
Yes, yes.
That's fat. Oh,
I know, it's just gorgeous, isn't it?
these are really good. A little piggy. Sydney dog. We had Alison on yesterday with her gorgeous dog bags, and I've been wanting a dog all my life, but now, of course, we don't have a garden now, so having a dog isn't going to be really helpful.
No, that's one of mine.
That
I
is
love anything sort of like a
adorable.
ragdollish type thing.
Does the dress
That's
come off
resin-
on its own?
You can do. You can
So
actually
you can
make
build
it.
little outfits
Yeah,
for them.
Yeah.
How brilliant! Little owl. Owls are very in at the moment, aren't they?
So there's lots and lots of projects. So there's 50 patterns in there.
That's incredible. And the book is $12.99. 50 different patterns for $12.99. And can't
Yeah.
go wrong with that. So this is Betty Bird,
Yes.
what you've made.
Yes.
That's brilliant. And then the Ditzy Bear.
Oh, the unicorn.
Pineapple.
The unicorns are lovely on page 62.
Oh, I think I've gone past him.
People love
Oh,
unicorns.
that's adorable. How much is that a project? 25p a project.
That'll keep you going for a while.
It is, it is.
Yeah.
Sorry, my little accountant head was going, that can't be right. That can't be right. Gosh, these are... Oh, look at the pears and the fruits.
There's a
these are
dinosaur,
brilliant.
alien.
Catch the fish.
Yes.
They're gorgeous. Oh, wow, the oven glove, the owl glove puppet. Oh, that's so adorable.
So what I like about them as well is that you can actually use them, you know, so it's not
Yes.
just making something that's going to look pretty on a, you know, on a shelf or something like that. You know, there's lots of things. That's really nice.
Well, I was going to say, we've got
Yes.
this, don't we? So we've got all these wonderful numbers that you've made. I'm going to get these out of order now, aren't I?
I think that these are from the designer. I won't take credit, I'm afraid. I could have said, oh yes, yes, I
forgive me,
did
you got
that, I
that
did
wrong.
that.
But look at this. It is so, so adorable.
So pretty, isn't it?
Absolute. And this Liberty is lovely.
And what I like is that the actual number of flowers matches. So, for example,
1, 2,
Yeah.
3.
so you
four.
can you put the numbers.
I wish you could hear talk back. I can hear someone going, oh, wow, John can count.
So you match your felt.
Oh,
so
that's
it's
brilliant.
a teaching thing.
1, 2. Do I have a 3? Oh, that's a 5. That's a 5. That's not a 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. You count them out then. Go on. There we go. Oh, who's that? That's 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is brilliant. Look, I can count. 2, 4, 6. That's 9. I think that's 9 there. And this.
But it just looks so pretty, and also, you know, you're
It's
actually
brilliant.
teaching something.
And you're teaching.
Yes.
Oh, I love that. That is so good. And the good thing of this is that it's a game that the whole family can play, and
Yes.
generationally. I
Yes.
love that.
Yeah.
What a lovely thing.
So as I say, a lot of the projects within the book aren't just to look pretty. They
No, they're
have
actually
actually
got
got
use.
some use to them.
Educational. And I'm looking here, we've got 2 more.
That looks like a board game or something instead of counters. Oh, there you go.
4 in a row. Oh,
Oh.
my goodness. Oh, I love this.
Has it got Velcro? Oh, fantastic.
Oh my goodness, how brilliant. Sorry, I'm going to be playing with all the samples today.
I wish I could play as well, but I can't.
Right, tell me where you want your red one to go. I'm going to pop you there. Oh, I love it. This is so good. And it's so much better not using plastic to have something like
Yes,
this.
yes.
How brilliant. Oh, these are excellent. For 25p for the pattern
I
on how
know.
to make this.
I
This is
know.
just such a great deal.
Yeah.
So that's how I can... Oh, 4 in a row. And clearly the Velcro is very strong on that one. And then, do you want me to show the fish?
I don't know. I'm trying to think what the... Yeah, it's like a
Laura?
game, isn't it? So you've got... I'm not sure if you've got a hook or what you've got on the end.
We do!
Oh, nice.
These are adorable.
I think you can buy the wooden hooks.
This is me hooked. This
Yeah.
is me literally hooked for the whole day. Oh, I'm terrible at this. I can't even get the hook to work. Oh, is that going to work? Oh, almost.
And the whole family can
You realise
play
we
it
can't
as well.
continue until I do this.
Yes.
Yay! It's so silly, but that is so good. So again, the book is $12.99, and you get all these fantastic, fantastic patterns. And then you're going to be making a little bird for us today.
Yes, I hope so. I don't know how far we'll get, but I will do my best to get as much done as possible.
So I think we've got some kits together to go with this, don't we?
Yes.
So we've got a kit with blue, which is the sample that you've got made on the edge of the counter over there. We've got that available in blue. So you're getting your skein of thread, which are these for the eyes.
Yes.
Those are for the eyes. Then you've got your wonderful piece of felt, which is for your beak and your the little legs. And then you're getting your 1/2 metre of the Liberty fabric. Gosh, I love this fabric, isn't it beautiful?
So pretty.
And then 1/2 metre of the powder blue as well. And then that whole kit, to be able to make the bird, is $17.99. Don't forget, you will need to get the book as well. Oh, and you get stuffing as well. Oh my goodness, you get the stuffing as well. Look at me underselling the product. So there you go, you're getting this whole bundle here with the stuffing, everything you need to make that beautiful, beautiful bird, and that's $17.99. And I'm pretty sure you're going to have quite a lot of the stuffing left over, aren't you?
Yes, yes. So I would say there's going to be enough there for 2 birds, or you'll have enough to make one of the birds and then one of the other projects and use the stuffing for
Well, the thing is
that.
with these projects, it seems as though it's designed for you to use bits and bobs left over from your project, so you'll be able to just pop, maybe you'd make the little unicorn's feet in that or something like that.
Yes, really,
but we've got
really
2
good.
colourways. So the colourway you're doing your demo in, again, you're getting your wonderful toy stuffing, you're getting your wonderful thread. I'm not doing this very well today. You've got your toy stuffing, you're getting a wonderful thread, you're getting your felt, and then you're getting this gorgeous Liberty. Look how beautiful that is. And then you're getting 1/2 metre of the lemon to go with it as well. Really, really, really great, that. So come on then, show me how I do this.
Oh, I think you're going to teach me a few things here.
I don't know about that.
So as I say, the first thing that you will do is actually take a photocopy of the pattern and then transfer that onto card. I only had small card at home, but you can see that there's an actual curve there, a dotted line there, and the solid line there. Same with this, the curve there, the dotted line there. So the 2 dotted lines join together.
Is where you sellotape those
Yes.
together.
So that's the actual shape of the bird. So that's all complete. And then you've got the shape of the head. So that's the head there. You've also got a shape there for the beak, and then the triangle. Now the triangle, I would actually say, when you're cutting this out, I did this one, you'll notice. This one has little triangles, this one has big triangles.
Oh.
And the reason for that is that
were you
actually...
cheating?
No, I wasn't cheating. You need to add 1/4 inch seam allowance around each side of the triangle, which I didn't do, I'm afraid. So, but it still looks lovely.
It looks fantastic.
Yeah, it still looks lovely. So, so that's the only sort of thing that I would, warn you against, is you need to add.
But you see, this is what I love about what we do, is the fact that you've got that top tip, that people then know exactly what it is, because a lot of people will make that assumption that you don't need the seam allowance, but it still works beautifully even if you do.
I know, but doing small triangles was a little bit fiddly. So I apologise if my points don't match.
What I'll do next time you come in, I'll bring you one of my miniatures and then I'll show you small triangles.
Oh my gosh. So as I say, the triangle that they've got in the pattern is this size, and then you add your 1/4 inch all the way round, and I made a template like that. Having said all of that, I actually did a way of cutting the triangles that didn't mean that I had to draw around it. So,
what did you do?
So what I did was, from the fabric, I cut, I'll just bring this in. So the actual height of the triangle, so if you match the straight edge of the triangle there, it's just over 3.
Yep.
In fact, on this triangle there's a sort of not a pointy end there, so I actually did my triangles 3 1/4 inches. So what I did was then take the fabric, laid it all out, and you can cut, you know, quite a few layers together, can't you? This hasn't been ironed, sorry.
You're fine. There might be an iron underneath you
Oh, I hope
there.
so.
And there is a plug that
And then I need the ironing pad, but that's fine.
It's there.
Yeah, don't worry.
It's literally there.
Oh, perfect.
So if you'd like to iron, you're most welcome.
Thank you.
I will always provide irons for whomever would like to press anything.
Thank you. So I layered my fabric like that.
Yep.
And then
You cut your 3 1/4
my
inch strip.
3 1/4 inch strip across.
Perfect.
Which was great. So that's when I ended up with, and I will just iron. I'm not sure if the iron's on.
The other one you'll find is better,
Okay.
in my opinion.
Okay. And that just
Because I tell you that June Taylor, they make the most incredible pressing mats. I absolutely adore them.
I wish
They're
I'd got
really
something like
good.
this. I've got one of those, the ironing on the table, you know, one of those.
Yes, I've got those as well.
But I've run out of table room, so I actually have to put it on the carpet. And then I'm kneeling on the carpet doing my ironing.
There's not a crafter in this entire world who does. You might need to plug that in first.
might
So
have
you'll see
to.
there's a plug just where the underneath
we're
your trolley.
really
I know, we're
organised
very,
today,
very
aren't we?
organised. We're doing fine.
Where's the
And the
plug?
great thing is, our lovely viewers, they understand that we do all this all the time. You'll see the sewing machine's plugged into a plug.
Yeah.
There should be a plug there.
Got it. Right, sorry about this.
Now, my top tip, I forget about it all the time, and I put my hand on the mat, and it feels a little bit warm. It's
Right.
at that point you realise you forgot to turn the iron off.
Right,
So
okay.
if I don't remind you, if your
I'll
mat's
turn it
feeling a
off.
bit warm,
Yeah,
turn the iron
I'll
off.
turn the iron off. So I've cut my 3 1/4 inch strip. I've
Yes.
got one of the yellow and one of the
Much
patterned
better,
fabric.
yes.
You can do all your yellow strips and all your pattern strips together.
Yes.
And a nice long ruler's a good idea as well. That works really well. And then just do that. Because it's much better, more accurate stitching if you've got the. I'm going to leave the iron actually on. I will tell
Yes,
you
no,
I'm
it's
going
fine.
to leave it on for
Look,
now.
I leave it on for the whole show.
Yes. And then what I'll do is just match the edges up either end. Don't worry if you overlap. It's a little bit wider there, but you want. So the triangle. So what I did before, and I need to get my friction pen.
Oh, I've got them here.
Yeah.
There's a box there. I'm not going to touch
Right,
them. You can
okay.
touch those. Grab the whole box.
Perfect.
There you go.
Yeah. So what I did before was either you can measure this or you can do it like this. And this, I just found it much easier making the marks.
Yes.
And then just do that across there
Brilliant.
and that way.
So if anybody hasn't had a friction pen before and you are looking for one, we've got it on your screen now for you to be able to see to get that. Really, really invaluable, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, I'd only started using them recently and I thought, oh, this is really good.
They're
really,
really good, aren't they?
Yes. So then what you'll do, you've got your strip there, you've got it all marked, and then you can go from the corner to your mark and cut your triangles. Hoping that's okay. And
See,
then
I
it's
much prefer
just-
using a smaller blade when I'm cutting smaller
Yes,
pieces like
yes.
this, don't you?
And because if you've got it straight like that, you can actually move your ruler and your blade, so you're not moving the fabric.
Yep.
Oh, sorry about that.
You're okay.
Anyway, you carry on and you'll cut all your triangles out.
Yep.
Okay. The next thing, and again, I'm not sure whether this is something, but I was looking. I thought I'll have a look on YouTube and see if there's some hints and tips about working with triangles. And one of the YouTubes that I looked at, they said with triangles you've got your line that's actually with the grain.
With the grain and the rest
And
are
then
on the
you've
bias.
got on the bias. And I thought, oh, okay, why is that? And it's when you're doing your strips, and again, I'm sure a lot of you know this, but if you've never done it before, this is something that I learnt, and I thought,
Exactly.
oh, that's really good. So your straight to the grain needs to be along
Yes.
this line.
And they all need to be on that line,
Yes.
both sides.
Yes.
Yes.
So if you don't do it like that, you will find that no matter how careful you are when you're pressing, that you will actually press and draw the fabric.
You will.
You know, and again, you know, I thought, oh right,
Top
okay.
tip. Look at you.
Really, I know. I
For someone
was-
who's not done this, you've got all the right information. You're doing brilliantly.
I thought, oh, that's quite good. And then what I did, because you need quite a few triangles, you'll need, I think it's 42. Let me just find the pattern.
I've got it here.
Yeah. So the instructions and everything will tell you how many triangles you'll need to cut out.
44 of the yellow fabric,
44
42 of the blue.
Yeah.
So the yellow fabric is obviously the pattern fabric, yes.
Yeah. So you're
but
gonna
if you don't get the seam allowance in, you'll be cutting slightly more.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And as I say, you've got plenty of fabric there, so you know it's really, really good from that point of view. I spent a little bit of time then making sure that I did all my triangles and I put them in a pile like that with that straight grain.
Straight grain at the top or the bottom.
On both of them,
Yeah.
yeah. And then I was able to pick and sort of machine as I went.
So you'll be machining down the bias edge.
Yes.
And that one you just let the machine do the work or pin it as you go,
Yes,
don't you? Perfect.
yes.
Because
So-
my other top tip with that is exactly the same as what you've said, but I use a lot of best press. Because best press is
okay.
a starch, which I just adore. And not only is the
I've not
smell
had
amazing.
that, yes.
Ooh, we have a bottle here somewhere, which I'm sure we could get for you. But honestly, best press I adore, especially when you're doing anything with bias, because it just holds everything nice and firm as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. So then they will actually in the instructions, so I'll bring that back in, they'll tell you the
The order.
order of putting the triangles together. So you start with a triangle of number A, which is
your
the printed fabric.
Yep.
So,
Printed blue, printed blue, printed
Yep.
blue, all the way along.
so you'll start with your fabric that's to the grain.
Yep.
And then you'll want your yellow. So I actually did it like that. So I
Yes,
did
so
my
that
triangles
you know
like
exactly
that.
where you're putting them in. What a clever way of doing it.
And then this is the yellow. So I know that I've got to do those two together.
Perfect.
And I just found it easy to just pop a pin in there and then take it to the machine and do it like that. And then you carry on.
Have you used wonder clips before?
Yes.
See, I love doing those. If I'm doing
Yes.
loads of them, I pop a wonder clip on them.
Yeah.
Because pins, I find, if when I'm moving the fabric, sometimes with that bias
Yes.
edge, you can stretch it ever so
That's
slightly.
right.
So I find the
Yes.
wonder clips work a bit better there.
Yes. Okay. I have got some wonder clips somewhere.
Cara, as if by magic,
What? Oh.
we have a little box of
all
wonder
right.
clips. for
Okay.
you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Because we've got two sets today on the show. We've got the 50 box over there, which you're using, which you can see how many triangles you've got in this. What is it, 42 of one and 44 of the other.
Yeah.
50 come in really handy. But we've also got a pack of 10 as well available, which is also, yeah, if you're going to be just doing a few at a time, then
Yes,
you can do these.
I mean, I found that I only just pinned one
Yes,
set.
it's just to hold it
together.
together while you get
yeah,
it to the machine.
just to hold it. And right.
This is a
gonna be
standing
fun.
joke with my lovely, lovely friend Sylvia, who works with me. She does all my binding,
Oh,
so I just hand her an enormous quantity of wonder clips.
Yes,
she
so here you go.
goes.
I love the wonder clips for doing binding and everything
Very
because of
much
the
so.
depth of the actual clip.
clip.
Just holds it in the right position, doesn't it?
Because I introduced Sylvia to double binding, which is where you put the binding at the back but fold the fabric
Yes,
twice and
yes,
put it
yes,
on.
yes.
And she's absolutely addicted to it. So before, she'd only use 5 or 10 clips and then keep moving it along. But
Oh,
now
gosh.
that she's addicted to this double
Yes.
binding, thankfully, thank you, Sylvia, she actually then pins a whole side now. So she is
Perfect,
using 50 to 100 of them.
And you want...
I am the luckiest person alive to have somebody to hand sew my binding
Wonderful.
down for me. She's amazing.
You want about the 1/4 of an inch seam. And the other thing that I did to start with, I actually pieced them. So I did pairs, but I found that it didn't really work that well.
Yeah, also with a chain piecing, do you then lose your grain?
Yes,
Yeah, I
it
found
was a
that.
struggle to sort of...
So there is a thread cut. Oh, there you go, you got it.
yeah,
It's a lovely little machine, that one,
that's
the first
really
60.
nice, yes.
You might have a few little threads to start with. I was getting quite
Yeah.
ambitious with some projects yesterday.
Just find my scissors.
There are slips over here. Got one?
Yeah.
Oh, you've got the Fiskars.
Yes.
They're so
Treated
good.
myself.
We were so lucky yesterday having them as an early bird. They were brilliant.
Oh, were they? So this is the first lot of triangles, and in fact I've done it the other way round. If I use this one, because you want two pieces of fabric all together, and in fact if I do it like that, that matches there, like that. So once you've machined that, you can finger press this, or you can press it open, and that's the other thing that I found. I actually pressed on the model, I pressed the seams to one side, and it didn't.
It does get a little lumpy at one point.
But again, I didn't want to press it with the iron, because I felt because it's on the diagonal, it would actually pull the seam. So I finger pressed that, and then I took my next yellow one. So again, I want the straight grain, match that there, and then machine the seam open.
And the good thing is, by pressing your seam open, as you get to the bottom of that yellow triangle, you're then catching that open seam as you go along, which is great.
Yes, which is really nice. And in fact, when you're doing it like that, you're matching your points as well, which is good. So you know you're in the right direction.
Not that my points ever match, but there we go.
I tried, and it did get better.
I can assure you, for your first patchwork project, it's a lot better than mine was.
It did get better. I've done little bits of patchwork, but not sort of like this. So, you know, I thought I will try my best to do it as neat as possible. So that's there, and then you'll take another piece of got that one, hidden them.
What are you looking for?
The patterned fabric. There we go. It's camouflaged. So we want the straight grain again, like that. So that one's going to go there. I found it easier to sort of lay it on top.
Yes.
And then just fold it over.
And do you just press that top bit open as you go?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So again, I finger press there, and then match the points. And in fact, I wasn't pinning for every single one. It was just for the first one that I actually pinned. So we carry on. And you've got loads and loads of triangles. You know, if you're doing it by strips, although you need 44 of one and 42 of the other one, if you're doing the strips, you'll find that you've got quite a few left over. So they can be used for lots of different projects.
Of course.
Okay.
But it's so therapeutic being able to do all of this. It's very mindful, just doing a really...
It's just lovely. You can completely lose yourself in what you're doing, which is really nice.
So what was your background? Have you done much sewing in the past? Obviously not much patchwork.
I have always sewn.
Right.
So my mum was a very good crafter and a sewist. So I learnt a lot. She used to make my sister and I matching outfits.
Oh,
my sister's 2 years older than I am. And we always used to have matching outfits. And, you know, they were unique. And sort of when we were children, that was just really nice to sort of have the handmade clothes and everything. And then I just really, really enjoyed needlework and sewing. I do find it very, very therapeutic. I'm in my happy place when I'm stitching, and I can feel my body just sort of relaxing and enjoying it. So that was the start with my mum, and then at school I had a very good needlework teacher. So I wanted to do A-level needlework and A-level art, but my dad said, you'll never get a job, you know. Do something. I did chemistry and English and maths.
My,
I know.
Gosh.
And it was just like, oh, but I really want to sew. So I went to Teachers Training College and specialised in embroidery. And that was wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I really, really enjoyed that. And then my first job was working at school, and I was teaching crafts, but it was a school for adolescent girls that had been in trouble with the police. So I was teaching them crafts and things like that, and that was lovely. Then I worked in London. I worked at a day centre for physically handicapped and elderly, and that was fantastic as well. Different challenges.
I was going to say, it all sounds very rewarding.
Yes, yes. And then I worked with DMC Creative World, the needlework company, for a number of years. Then, sadly, but not necessarily that sadly, I was made redundant 3 years ago, and decided to go freelance. And I've always done something, so I've got sort of different jobs. You know, I do teaching of textiles and things like that. So sewing is in my bones.
Wonderful.
You know, which is
But
fantastic.
you can see your passion for it. It's great.
Absolutely love it, and I love trying. I've never stopped learning. You know, I always try something new. So, anyway, back to the sewing.
Speaking of something new, right back to the patchwork.
So you carry on doing that for your rows, and then you'll join your rows together, as I've done here.
And there are 4 rows, aren't there?
There are 4 rows altogether. On this one, I think there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 on that one because of the smaller triangles. And you can do the smaller triangles if you want, or you can do, you know, the larger ones. So you carry on sewing those together, and you'll end up with 2 strips. So this is one of them. And the thing that you just want to check is that your template will actually fit within there, and that's why with the smaller triangles I had to make it
larger,
bigger. And so then you want a front and a back. So the only thing that I would say is, again, just be aware that you want your front and back like that. So you want it sort of to match. That's right. So as you're making,
are you missing a row on that?
Yes.
Okay,
so I'm going to show you.
Just
going to show you how to join the rows.
I had this horrible feeling you were about to cut that up and
no,
not have enough
yet, not yet. So you've done all your strips. You've matched them so that they, you know, match right sides together. And then this is my final strip. You want the pattern fabric to match the plain, and you can see how nicely it is when it's ironed with the seams open. I keep on noticing that thread. So then what we want to do is match the points, and this was something that I thought,
luck.
oh, John will tell me.
There's only one thing to say: if you don't match the points, it's fine. No, and anybody's going to be upset about it.
Absolutely.
Take your beautiful bird back. No one's ever given anything back because a point doesn't match, and it's about
but you
love.
do try. You do
try
and sort
you
of
spend so
match.
much time doing it, of course you want to. But you're doing exactly what I would suggest people do, is you just pin it to the point.
So you find the point where the 2 fabrics match or meet, and then you pop your pin through the point there, and then you do the same on the other side. And you want that pin to sit. Don't try and do it like that,
yes.
or like that. You want your pin to be vertical.
Well, my top tip is I would be holding that out in front of me.
Yes.
Rotate it around 180 degrees.
Right.
Hold it really tightly with your thumb, so literally picking it up.
Right.
So I'd have it like this.
Yes.
And I'd have the pin going through, and have the pin parallel with the table mat.
Okay.
Then squeeze really, really tightly on one side.
Okay.
Hold your thumb and your finger there, and then just rotate it down.
Okay.
Because then your fabric isn't moving because you're holding it so tightly.
Okay. So we hold it tightly like that.
Exactly like that.
Yeah. Take your pin and just...
Yeah, that's exactly it.
And this is where pins are good rather than the clips.
Indeed.
So I'll just pop some pins in there, and then we'll do that.
But I have to say, your points look pretty good to me.
Oh, I don't know. I'm very critical, but I always say that, you know, it's handmade.
Exactly.
So again, you're matching the points there, keeping the seams nice and open, making sure that that pin goes right the way through. Whoops, just come out.
So you're working from the book 50 Fat Quarter Toys today. Such a great book. 25p for each of the designs in here. There are 50 of them. We're making the Betty Bird, but we've got so many different projects in here. You don't mind if I show everybody the projects while you're pinning those?
No, not at all while I'm pinning.
I love this Rosie Rabbit. I think she is absolutely adorable.
Her. Yeah, I think either the plain yellow or calico would be good for her face.
But look, we've also got Busy Bee. Just this beautiful, beautiful little bee. So adorable. I'm loving all the projects that are in here. I love that I caught one of those little fish on there.
You did well.
So good. You got a little huggable ukulele. One of my friends, her and her husband play the ukulele in a local band, and they absolutely love that. That would be cute. Oh, look at that! A little sleeping bag for your dolly. I know my friend Emma's daughter Georgia would love that. Oh, I love these. These are so adorable. Noughts and crosses again. So another great game to play with the family.
Yes, with the felt for the
And the
knots.
Velcro to
Yes.
stick it down. So if you change your mind too late, it's Velcroed down. Oh, I love these. So they've got the spatial, the memory game. That's very cute. Being able to do the memory game.
That's really good.
I'm loving
Yeah.
these. Right, so you're now
Okay, I've
holding your
done-
breath and you're going to do this.
Right, so I've pinned them all together. Just drop the needle down. Don't worry if your fabrics don't match. The most important thing is trying to get those
The points.
So,
If you want to slow it down, you can tell
Yeah.
I was doing strip sets. You can just slide the lever down.
just
So every time I've used the sewing machine, it's always at its fastest.
might.
So that's
yeah,
the-
just
here
a
we
little
go.
bit. Take your pins out when you get to those points, because you're right. You know, when you've got the pin in the fabric,
Yes.
it's actually moving the fabric around. So
And also, you do not want to be hitting your pin with a
no,
needle.
definitely not. And in fact, when you're looking at it on the back, I'm going to go a bit faster, you can see the point on the top
Yes.
where the two fabrics meet. So you want to actually machine through that and hope that the point underneath is underneath it.
And it is a hope, and if you don't
Yeah.
get it, it's not a problem.
Yeah. It's
It'd
just
be
nice.
great if you can, but
Yeah.
if you can't, it's not a problem.
And no, and I think, you know, you can stress too much about trying to get those to match, and, you know, it's
But I do think it's
fine.
really important, especially when you're dealing with bias, that if you are going to unpick it, it's probably easier to cut more fabric and sew it again than distort it.
Oh, okay, yes, of course.
Because, of course, the
Yeah.
fabric's not going to be the same shape as
No.
the triangle once you've unpicked it and
No.
repressed it back. Oh, is your birdie about to go? No.
No,
Our little
Nearly.
stand has just got not quite on the table there, and your sample went underneath it. So I think your iron should still be
yes, I'm
on.
just
Those
going
look
to...
pretty good.
Not too bad, I'm a bit off on certain sides, but I'm
You're
not going
being
to
very
stress about
critical
it.
of yourself. You mustn't.
I'm not going to
Looks
stress about
fabulous.
it. So, I'm making a lovely mess here.
No, you're
Right,
not.
okay.
You're all good.
So then we'll just open the seams, press it lightly from this side, just to keep those seams open.
So if you need to turn the steam off, the button's closest to your hand, you
Yeah.
rotate that knob unless you don't want steam.
No, I'm okay.
Perfect.
I'm doing it really, really
As
lightly.
long as you don't get
Yeah.
burnt on the iron, that's all I worry about.
I did that the other day. I've got a lovely scar.
Oh gosh, you really did yourself a nasty there. Well, we only do it the once, don't we?
Yeah. So
Well,
it's
that
just
looks pretty
bottom.
good to me.
Yeah, so we're not too bad. Ooh, I'm quite pleased with that, especially live on air.
Brilliant.
Okay,
So you
So-
put these then right sides together.
right side together. Make sure that you've got
in
the
the
shape.
same-
Yeah. And then with the friction pen again,
I think you've still got that.
yes. I'm just going to pin those at the seams to keep them matching as
Well, of
best
course,
as
because
possible.
you're about to sew them, aren't
Yeah.
you?
So just as best as possible. And well, that seam's come closed. Do
You
the
just
other
repress it now
side.
if you want.
Sorry?
You could repress it now if you need to.
Yeah.
I don't think it would matter.
So, oops. Okay, let's move that. And then, so what we want to do is lay our pattern piece. Now, it's entirely up to you. Because there's only 4 rows, you might want to sort of have it near the top, but then you'll find that at the bottom you've only got sort of
A
maybe a
snippet of
third.
it.
Yeah. So you might want to bring it down slightly.
And that's the great thing with this, is that you can do it how best works for you.
Yes. Now, this pattern piece was done without the seam allowance. So again, I'm going to just trace round with the friction pen.
And this one you're going to do a full line. You're not
Yeah.
going to do, okay.
And I'm actually going to go around like that. And then when I cut it, I'm going to cut. So this will be my stitching line.
Yes.
I'm going to...
Oh, sorry, I'm with you now. So this
Yeah.
doesn't have the seam allowance
No.
on it. So when you cut the piece of paper out at the very beginning, you'd
Yeah.
need to add 1/4 of an inch all the way around to put
You
your seam
can,
allowance on.
or you can do it this way. And
Well,
I
if you
found
did that, would it just not just be a slightly smaller bird?
it will be a slightly smaller bird, and as long as you do it the same with the head as well, it's entirely up to you. But I just found, like the Tilda toys, quite often you'll do the line for stitching and then you'll cut it out afterwards. But with this one, I'm just going to leave that line for the stitching. I will still cut it out with the 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. So we've gone all the way around there. I think that's about it. Okay. So
That's great.
I'm
So
going
do
to
you leave
move
your...
my pins
Perfect, because it makes it easier for cutting.
Yep. into there.
So you have your own pair of scissors for this for cutting?
Yes,
Brilliant.
I have. My Fiskars. So they were on offer, were they, yesterday?
They
Did you say?
were.
Oh, lovely.
But you yourself know they're such great scissors.
Oh, I know.
They really are.
I know. And it's worth having decent scissors.
Of course.
So I'm going to just cut that out now with my 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to just
So you're
use
adding
my
your
eye.
1/4 inch
Yeah.
on that, fine.
Yeah. Just got quite a few
A little
layers of fabric
guesstimate
there.
of it.
You can do this with a rotary cutter if you feel confident
my.
going around curves, but I
Not sure
find
I'd
it.
feel comfortable with that.
I just find it easier with the scissors.
You see, for myself, I think with my 1/4 inch, I might either have it far too large, or I'd end up having it as about 1/8 of an inch and then cut through the poor little thing's wing or something.
The only thing is that you know it is a rough 1/4 of an inch because you've already got your line there
Of
for
course, for your
stitching.
seam.
So you know, don't worry too much about that.
So did you leave your little turn point at the bottom?
I did it actually down the side, down the end of the tail. So just here, I think it was.
Okay.
So this is the neck, and I did it there. So you leave a gap there for turning.
Perfect.
But we've got to sort the head out first, and also the legs, the felt legs that you're going to put in. So I'm going to talk about the head in a minute and show you how to do the eyes with satin stitch. Right.
There's so much to do, and for such a really great price book, 25p per pattern, you can see just how incredibly involved it is. It's great.
It's lovely. You know, it's just something different that you wouldn't
And I love the fact that
necessarily...
you didn't really do patchwork before, and you've done it yourself. I think it's great.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed it. I might
Brilliant.
be tempted to do something else. So the next stage will be actually adding the heads, the two parts of the head.
So you're doing exactly the same format there, adding your 1/4 inch all the way round.
And that's my stitching.
Background fabric, yeah.
You will see that I did actually press that, so that's why the pen's gone, disappeared. It
We've
wasn't
all
supposed
done
to.
that. We've
It
all
wasn't
done
supposed to. So with the stranded cotton, you're going to use 3 strands of stranded cotton, and you strip the stranded cotton, so you take a strand off at a time and then lay the 3 together. And for satin stitch, that means that your 3 threads will lie flat. If you don't strip it, it will still be twisted, and you won't get a
as
smooth
flat as a
stitch.
stitch.
Yes, yes. So this is one I've done earlier,
I was going to say, he looks like he's winking at us at the moment.
but it, you know, that is just the 3 strands of
That's
stranded
beautifully
cotton.
done.
I marked onto the fabric from the pattern the actual shape of the eye, and you're going to stitch over that line. I also took a piece of iron-on interfacing just to strengthen it whilst I was stitching.
Makes
So I've
sense.
actually got some interfacing there as well. And then to do the satin stitch, you're just going to pass your needle through the fabric from the wrong side, and you're going to do parallel stitches. Try not to notch your fabric thread at the back. So you just take your time. It'll take a little bit longer time than I'm doing here, but this is how you do your satin stitch eyes. And this is perfect because if you want to give this as a present to a young child. It's not a safety eye. They have suggested safety eyes actually in the pattern.
But I think it's much nicer to have that as well.
Yeah. Even
And
if,
again, it's less plastic.
yeah, and even if you use felt can come unstitched and can come away, so a child can sort of grab it. This won't be the neatest eye, I'm afraid, but
Cara, I promise you, you're doing great.
there we go. So it does grow very quickly, and I used to be scared of satin stitch. It used to be a stitch that I thought, oh, I can't do. And
Well,
it
it
is
looks
just
pretty good to
practice.
me.
Yeah, it is just practice. And don't be scared of it. Like anything new, you know, you just have a go, and if it doesn't work, you can always do it on a scrap piece of fabric.
Well, I was going to say, we all have, there's a little bit of stash out there in our little collections,
Yes.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
We all have that little bit of stash that we've bought, and we look at it a couple of months later and go, why on earth have I bought that? That's a good one to practice on.
Yes, yeah. And any embroidery stitch, I always say to people, you know, you sort of think, oh, it's really difficult to do, but if you practice on a scrap of fabric, you'll make your mistakes there, and you'll think, oh, right, okay, I'll do it slightly differently next time.
And you're not wasting that fabric because you're learning something from it.
And it's quite nice, actually. I like keeping where I've done some new stitches because there's so many embroidery
sort of
stitches
stitch
around.
library.
Yes,
I
which
do like
is really
that.
nice. So there we have. Oh, it is a little bit.
Oh, they look great.
I'd possibly go back and just do an
Oh,
extra
no.
stitch there, but that's just me.
But everybody's eyes are different. I think that just adds a little bit of character on it.
So what you want to do...
So do you attach the head before you do the
Yes,
body? Okay.
yeah. So what you want to do is actually right sides together and make sure that your head is facing the right way.
Yes.
So make sure that the beak is going away from the actual body. And then right sides together.
I want to ask you how you know that, but I fear that you've stuck something on the wrong way
Yes,
round.
I think we all have, haven't we? He's looking over his shoulder. So we'll just pop that there and do the same on the other side.
I think we've got about 6 or 7 minutes left for you.
Oh, okay.
No pressure. No pressure.
Well, what I can do is I can just machine
If you can put maybe
across
one
here.
of those on, because I certainly would like to see how you
Yeah.
get that done.
And
So
then
are
I'll
you
do-
matching up the line, your stitch line,
Yes.
on both sides? So it doesn't really matter if they're a
Yeah,
little bit
I'm
out,
matching
does
up
it?
the raw edges actually.
Yeah.
So what you'll do now is you'll machine across
that
there.
line. Perfect.
Okay.
And are you just using a normal, so if you're going to use it, will you be using 1/4 inch seam for that?
Roughly a quarter
Roughly.
inch. Yeah, yeah. All of it, I'm afraid, is roughly, unless you've
That's-
got a 1/4 inch
right.
foot.
Well, the other top tip, if you don't have a 1/4 inch foot, on the Elna and the Janome, you can move your needle to position
Yes.
5.5.
Oh, wonderful.
Line your fabric up to the edge of your sewing foot, and you
Wonderful.
don't actually. Because of course, what we all do when we get sewing machines, you go out and buy all the feet that you think you need.
I know.
And I've never put my 1/4 inch foot on my machine. Never done it because
Oh my
I've lined
gosh.
everything up with my sewing, the edge of my sewing, my normal A foot.
Oh, goodness. Okay, so right sides together.
You can pop the other one on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
because if you're
time.
going to be making it, you're going to be 2/3 the way doing it.
Yeah. You never know here how long something's going to take. You know, when you do it
True.
at home, you're not chatting, so it doesn't take.
Well, I find specifically when I demo these big quilts, I sit at home and say, oh, that took about 12 minutes, that's
Oh, I
fine.
know.
And you get on air and you're like, I've got time, got to get it done. You make these horrible demos with the horrible demo pieces, and you look at it and think, how on earth did I put that on
I'm
air?
sure it wasn't.
Oh, they really are. You're very kind.
So we'll press. I'll just finger press this. Press
Yes,
the
because
seam
you've got
open.
those all on friction pen now. You don't want
Yeah.
to be pressing that with an iron.
No, not at the moment. So
But
we
the
just
finger
press that
pressing
over.
works perfectly there.
Yeah, and same on the other side, like that.
Oh, brilliant.
And then match everything round.
I was going to say make sure all the bits are out.
Yeah.
So what point do you start on? Because the head looks really fiddly to me.
I started at the end.
At the end,
yeah,
yeah.
where
Build
I'm
your
leaving a
confidence
gap.
up, yeah.
Where I'm going to leave a gap.
Build your
You've
confidence
got,
up to get to that point.
Yeah, if you've done, you just again take your time. You can slow your machine down, and you do a few stitches, turn the fabric, lift the foot up, leave the needle down, turn, and just going round the curve. That's all you need to do. And then I'm just putting the wonder clips where
They
the
are
seams
invaluable,
are.
those wonder
Yes.
clips. I found them
Oh,
so
I know.
useful for so many different things.
I quite often sort of think, how did I manage before?
I know.
Especially here, because you've got quite a few layers where
Especially
the
where your
seams
triangles
meet.
join. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm just going to do, so what you would do is machine all the way around, take my pins out. And again,
Oh, I think you just lost a wonder clip there that you
there
put
we
on.
go. So you can see there how many
There's a big
layers,
chunk of fabric
yes.
there, yeah.
And match your seam at the side there.
So if you were going to match anything, where you're connecting now, those are the most important
Yes.
seams to be matching.
Yes, definitely. And what I would do also at this stage, you want to pop the legs in. So you have 2 strips of felt, and you want the legs to go together.
And you would pin those on and
Yeah.
then stitch over them and turn them through.
Yeah, I actually
You
pop them
attach them
inside.
through the front, yeah.
Yeah. Pop them on the inside like that.
Perfect.
Roughly look where,
Where they are in the pattern
Yeah.
and go from there. I think that's fantastic. And then all you would do is roughly where the point of your scissors is now. You would
Yes.
start there, stitch all the way around, following the whole edge of the fabric, leaving a bit of a gap to where your finger is. If you can lift your other finger up, if you tap on there. That one there. Yes. So you're going to leave a gap between your fingers there.
Yes.
So that would be a great way of doing it. And just 1/4 of an inch all the way around.
Yeah, all the way
You've got
round
your
to there.
feet tucked up in
Yes.
safely into its little body.
Yes.
To get those nice and done. So, oh, that's brilliant.
and then the actual beak itself,
You put
you'll
that on
cut,
at the end.
Yeah, you cut the felt, machine all the way around, turn it through, and then that's inserted once you've
After.
finished stuffing
Perfect.
it. So,
And you turn it round and then stuff it.
yeah, turn it all the way round before you
Fantastic.
put the beak on and put the stuffing in.
Brilliant. Now, with the 1/4 inch, if you didn't add the 1/4 inch on it, you would just make a smaller duck.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
And as long as you make the head the right size and the beak the right size, so as long as you don't add the 1/4 of an inch to all of those pieces, then
That'll
it's
be
just
fine.
smaller.
Perfect. What a great demo. Thank you so much. And we've
That's
got you
quite
back
right.
at 10 o'clock.
Oh, I know.
Can't wait.
And leather.
Perfect. So just to recap what we've been doing, we've got this wonderful 50 Fat Quarter Toys book, $12.99 today, 50 different patterns of different toys, coming in at 25p per pattern. Such a great so many different projects on that. We've got 2 kits that we've been doing it with. Both of the kits come with this wonderful bag of toy stuffing. We've got a skein of thread. You've got your felt to make your legs and your beak. You're getting 1/2 metre of your lemon, and then you're getting 1/2 metre of your liberty. So that's our first bundle on that there. Do you want to do those over there? Is that easier? And you've got your thread on that as well. So that bundle is available today for £17.49. Then we've got a second bundle for you as well, which has still got the toy stuffing, still got the felts, that wonderful thread there as well. But then you've got 2 different colours. You've got the 1/2 metre of the powder blue and 1/2 metre of the Liberty print as well. And that is what the sample's made up with just over there. So it's been such a wonderful, wonderful project, these. I love this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. I'm sorry I didn't manage to get it all finished.
Oh, no, you did great. So the next hour, we're going to be doing these wonderful applique quilts over here. You've got me for that. And then at 10 o'clock, we've got you back for some leather work.
Yes.
I'm really looking forward to that. I've been really lucky. I've got to see the samples in advance. They're amazing. So I'm really looking forward to seeing you in about an hour.
Lovely.
We're going
See you
to
later.
reset the set now. Back in a minute. Hi, I'm John Cole Morgan, and I'm here to give you my top tips on how I go about enjoying my sewing experience. My first top tip, as everybody knows, rotary cutter safety. If you're not using it and it's not on the mat, that blade must be locked. Please be safe. My second top tip is always buy more fabric than you need. If you don't have it, it's always going to sell out. You're going to struggle to find it, and when you do, it's going to cost you a lot more than when you were going to buy it originally. So buy it all. You always regret the bit you didn't buy. My next tip is Positive or negative, always listen to the advice and opinions of other people. Even if you ignore them, everybody has a different perspective, everybody has a different take on things, and it might help you along the way. The next top tip I have is always buy the most expensive and the most useful and the most practical for your brain product that works for you. Some people prefer different things, buy what works for you. And my last tip is, this is fun, this is enjoyable, and make sure you are enjoying it. Because there's nothing worse than carrying on with something and hating it and not enjoying it. You need to make sure that you're having fun. Those are my top tips and how it is that I enjoy my sewing experience. I hope they help you, because they have helped me. For more handy tips and demonstrations, make sure you watch us on our Freeview channel 74, Sky channel of 670, otherwise follow us on YouTube on Sewing Street, where you can catch up on past demonstrations and shows. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Hi there, my name's Alison Marion and I'm thrilled to be joining the Sewing Street family. I live in Staffordshire, where I run a couple of sewing groups, and I have a passion for vintage sewing machines and also applique. I've stitched in some form for as long as I can remember, but I absolutely love teaching and helping people stretch their skills and hopefully demystifying some of the techniques that can be quite daunting for beginners. So I'm looking forward to meeting the team and getting into the studio. See you soon.
Hello there, I'm Debbie Shaw, and I would love you to join me on the first Monday of every single month for Sewing Street Surgery. Now, this is a dedicated hour where I answer your questions, and that could be questions about techniques, it could be questions about tools, it could be questions about new products, or maybe something that you've seen that you just don't understand. There's a lot of questions about tensions on sewing machines, and there's a lot of questions about working with different weights of fabrics. So if you have a question that you'd like to ask me, the easiest way to bring a question over to us is to go to our Facebook page and post your question on there. I will collate all of those questions throughout the week. If we need any new products for you, or if we need any new demonstrations, those will all be worked on leading up to that first Monday of the month. So do join me, Debbie Shaw, on Sewing Street Surgery on the first Monday.
If you'd like to get in touch with us during our live show and send in any messages or any questions, then you can do it on studio@sewingstreet.com. Alternatively, you can message us on our official Facebook page.
Hello, I'm Kerry from Living in Loveliness, and I'm delighted to be part of the Sewing Street team. I'm based in Wolverhampton and I absolutely love working with fabulous fabrics. In particular, I love working with fat quarters and showing you how to get the most from your scraps. I love bringing communities of sewists together and encouraging people to sew for greater causes. Most recently, we have been sewing for our NHS and key workers. I look forward to bringing you hints, tips and techniques. I'll see you soon.
Would you like to take part in our weekly competition? If you do, then all you have to do is head to the Sewing Street fan page group on Facebook. Post your picture of your make. Myself, Debbie Shaw and John Cole Morgan love looking at all of your makes every week. We pick our favourite and announce the winner every Friday live on the show. Happy sewing and good luck.
To see me back. My favourite piece of kit with the sewing is the seam ripper. Hello, I'm Janice from Birmingham. I specialise in dressmaking. I used to run a children's shop and I love making children's clothes. My mother encouraged me to sew from an early age. When we were young, we did dressmaking in school. My claim to fame was the sewing quarter, but I'm now making also jumpsuits for ladies and men of all shapes and sizes, and it seems to be going for the festivals around the country. See you on the show.
Hi there, I'm Debbie Shaw, and I would love for you to join me for my birthday celebrations on Monday the 6th of July. We're going to be live for 5 hours, all the way from 8 o'clock in the morning through to 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We're going to have special deals for you. They've got lots of special offers. I'm going to be signing photographs to everybody that places an order, and there's going to be demonstrations from both myself and from Delphine Brooks as well. So hopefully you can join me on Monday the 6th at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'll see you then.
Welcome back! I am so excited about this hour. I haven't even been able to put all my little bits away, ready for my demo. We have got the most fabulous little set here for you. The first time I have ever done an applique quilt. I am so excited about this. And look at them. We've got two different colourways. We've got this gorgeous pink, which I adore, but I think blue might have to be my favourite. You all know I love my blue, but isn't that just adorable? And I'm hearing we've had different opinions today as to different colours, as to which one people prefer. So let me show you closely what these fabrics look like, and I absolutely love them. Going to slide that under here because we're going to need our wonderful light box in a minute or two. So today we are getting, just want to double check. First of all, we're getting the wonderful set of instructions. Now our instructions have changed ever so slightly because we've got all the words expanded, made bigger. We've got loads of different pictures today. And we've got all our templates and everything in here. So you can see all of our patterns. We've got them a lot bigger writing now. We've got loads of different pictures and everything on how you're doing this, what you're doing, how you're getting it. All of our templates on one page there for you. And then you've got your applique templates at the back. So it's a really, really detailed pattern. We wanted to make sure that we've got everything the way you need it to be. Then we've got, is it 1/2 metre of the cream, of the green? 1/2 metre of the misty blue? I think it is. We're just double checking, and then I think we've got 1 metre of the cream, 1 metre of the orange, and 1 metre of the blue. So this is my 1.5 metres. I was just, as I picked that up, I'm like, that's bigger than 1 metre. So you can see that gorgeous colourway here. So this is 1.5 metres of the blue, 1 metre of the orange, 1 metre of the cream, and 1/2 metre of the misty blue. And that is coming in with your instructions at, drumroll please, look at this price point. How much was that? £39.99. And that's going to make this whole quilt, whoop, wrong way round. It's going to make this whole quilt now, and that is 42 inches square. So such a great price for such a lovely, lovely product there. The code that you'd need to type on the website, do we have that? Romeo? R for Romeo, T for Tango, X for X-ray, C for Charlie, 80. So that's the number I'm going to try that again. So it's RTXC80 is the code for this. We're having a few technical issues. It happens sometimes, so don't worry about that. Sorry. Sorry. Right. Forgive me. Right, so this is the different colourway that we've got here. We've got that gorgeous pink, the lovely orange, metre of the cream, and this gorgeous misty blue, and the set of instructions with all those templates and everything coming in at £39 today. Unfortunately, we're having a little bit of technical issues, so again, you'll need to type the code in for this one. And the code for this one is A for Alpha, U for Uniform, X for X-ray, C for Charlie, 37. So please make sure you check that out on the website. Otherwise, just type in applique on our search box and it'll come up for you. You know what happens. The little gremlins come out. They come out to play, and everybody's working as fast and as hard as they can to make it work. We're really sorry. We're having a few technical issues on that. So if you just type into the website applique, it'll pop up on there and you'll be able to see it. And that's in the two different colorways. We've got our pink colorway over here. This is what the finished product's going to look like. And you've got the blue colorway here as well. So you've got loads and loads of fabric left over and more than enough to be able to make this fabulous quilt, and that's coming in at £39.99. So let me show you what you're going to need to know in order to do this. Now, I am not a huge expert on applique. I haven't done a huge amount of it in the past, but I am absolutely addicted. I love it. Absolutely loving it. So I'm going to show you from start to finish how I did this. So when I've got my templates, what I did was I photocopied them out and I put them out and I got all my little pieces out the size that I needed them to be. Now, one thing I will tell you is you need to be careful of the directions that you do this in. So what I'll do is I'll show you this wonderful finished product over there, and then I'm going to show you my product. But can you see that over here, the leaves are going that way, but this one, they're going the other way. Now, I'll tell you how that happened, because when I took my templates out, when I cut them, I didn't put this the right way. Sorry, I haven't got this in the right space there for you. So most of the pieces you'll see, it doesn't matter what direction you put them in, they're going to be the same. It doesn't matter. But when it comes to the leaves, if you put the leaf against the back of the fabric and you cut it that way, it's going to come out the wrong way. So I'm going to show you how to avoid doing that. So what I've started with is I've used, first of all, the light box is invaluable, but that's one step away from where we are. Let me go back one step, put the light box over here. Right. Oh, sorry, I was going to say that's not my price, that pattern. So this is the Bonder Web. Now we've got Bonder Web here. These are 5 meters, is it? 5 meters on the roll. I cannot tell you how much I love my Bonder Web, and I'm going to use my paper scissors to cut out a piece of Bonder Web. And it is so easy to use. Really, really great product that. I'm going to just put some blue on. And the great thing with this is I know a lot of people don't do this way. I just think I've got so much fabric in this beautiful kit. I'm just going to use my blue. I'm going to take a piece. I'm going to put my Bonder Web there. And then I'm going to use my fabric scissors to cut out a square almost as big as my Bonder Web. Because the great thing is there's so much fabric you're getting in the bundle, you are going to have more than enough to play with. So what you've done now is I've cut out my piece of fabric. I'm now going to take a nice warm iron and I'm going to press that as flat as it can go. Now, I do think it's really important that we do press this. I would tell you how I know this, because we've all done it. You pressed it, you thought it was flat, you put the Bonder Web on, and there's a dip or a crease in your fabric. Now, on Bonder Web, you've got 2 different sides. You've got a flat side that you can feel it's nice and smooth, and then on the other side, it's not tacky, but you can feel there's something there. That's where the glue is. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put... Oh, I've cut that a little bit too big. And don't throw those away because you'll use those for smaller pieces. I'm going to put my Bonder Web in the middle there. I've got my paper side up, glue side down. Even though I've got that, I've got my little silicone mat that I'm going to put over it anyway. And then literally, I just hold my iron down for 5 or 10 seconds in each section. I thought I'd turned my steam off, but it hadn't. Now, because you've got this glue side down and paper side up, you don't really, in theory, need the silicone mat. I just love it, so I use it as often as I can. And all I'm doing now is I'm securing the Bonder Web down onto this fabric to be able to make sure that my Bonder Web the fabric, when I cut it, it's already got the bonder web on the back of it. So you can, when you pull it up, you'll be able to see the glue has actually worked all the way along. You can actually see that it's changed colour ever so slightly. That just means that it's worked absolutely fine. So now I've got my fabric with the bonder web on one side, right side of my fabric on this side. So that is as simple as that, and it's as quick as that as well. And with these, you don't need enormous amounts of fabric to be able to use the bonder web. You don't need huge pieces, so you don't have to worry about using swathes of bonder web all the way along, because you really don't need that much. So next, what you're going to do is you're going to get, now these light boxes I found were absolutely invaluable, and I'll show you why. Because where I put that on there, I know I need 4 blue flowers that are going to go there. So what I'm going to do is I've got my fabric and I've got my flower. Now this is one I've done before, but I've got my lovely little flower. This is just normal paper. I've just printed the pattern to be able to do it. Now, I know you're all very savvy shoppers and you're very savvy, so I'm just checking. Yes, so those, the bigger ones are the orange ones, the smaller ones are the blue ones. So you're going to need 4 of these, and you can position them to use the most of your fabric. And you can see I've done that. Then you're just going to take a friction pen and you're going to mark it out along the line. And you don't need to use a friction pen, you can use a normal pen because you're going to cut this out. So I'm just going to mark this one here. And then, if I'd been sensible, I would have done one over here because it's easier to cut out. So I'm going to do that now. And I do find this really lovely. I find it's almost like colouring in, that you just get to draw lines, and then you're going to cut along the line that you've drawn. Whoops. Right, so I know I'm cutting fabric, but I'm also cutting bonder web, so you need to decide which one you did. As you all know, I went and bought another pair of scissors, and I've got my bonder web fabric scissors specifically for that. I'm going to use my fabric scissors, which is probably wrong, forgive me. Actually no, I'm going to use my paper scissors because I can't bring myself to do it. So all you're going to do now is you're going to cut this out along the line you've just drawn. And you can see this light box just comes into its own at this point, because you really are going to get such benefit from it. It is a little bit of a considered purchase, but my goodness, it does help you along the way. But it's just, sorry, I'm not talking at all while I'm doing this, because it's just so mindful, and you're just being able to cut these out. Now, the other great thing I love about this is when you're doing this, it doesn't matter if you're not completely on the line. It doesn't matter if you're slightly off center on it, because it's your flower. It doesn't really matter how you do it. So there we go. You're going to make 4 of these, and you're going to cut 4 of those. Now, I'm not going to do the whole... I don't need to make another square at the moment. So now back to my fabric scissors. I'm just going to cut a square out. Oh my goodness, that was very badly cut. Sorry, so this is just some of the fabric that you're getting in your bundle. I'm trying to make that look a little neater than what it currently does. So there we go. And all I'm doing now is I'm going to give this a nice little press. I'm finished with my ironing mat, with my mat at the moment. The only reason I'm moving that is because I'm a little bit worried that I'm actually going to forget and press on my light box, which will get me into a lot of trouble. Right, so I get that nice and flat. And now comes the fun bit. Where have I put it? There we go. I knew I had it. So what you're going to do now is I'm going to do both of these. This is now, and the great thing with this is that you can do these with anything. So I'm going to put these two together like that, but you can see this isn't the design, this isn't the way it's meant to be. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a pin, and you just score the back of it like that, and you tear the back of the paper. And the reason you're doing that is it just makes your life that little bit easier when you're trying to tear the paper off the back of the Bondo webbed fabric. You tear that off, and you'll feel that this is quite tacky now. So this is a bit warm, so I'm not going to put it on at the moment. And all you're doing is you're tearing this little bit of paper off. It's not gummy, it doesn't feel anything, it just feels a little bit slippy. So if you could imagine, it's just, it's not, I don't quite know how to describe it. It's not like double-sided sticky tape, not at all. But it just feels smooth and slippy, if you like. So what you're doing now is, this is the fabric I'm going to be Bondo webbing this down on. And I'm going to pop that there. And I'm going to pop that there. Get them lined up. Now, this is not part of the pattern. All I'm doing is just showing you another way of using these templates. Now, again, I do not have any glue at the top, but just to protect my iron, I'm going to pop my lovely silk piece down there. And all I'm doing now is putting a hot iron on that, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's it. I have not moved it. I've not jiggled it. Literally, that's it. And voila, it's done. You're stuck. That's you done. That is your applique. Then you're going to have this is now what's known as raw edge applique, where you've got the raw edges on that. So what you're going to do then is you're going to do a satin stitch on your machine. Now, I've chosen to use a cream thread, which I forgot to load on my machine before we went live. So, So that is all we're doing then. So what you're doing is you're going to be using a zigzag. I'm going to use a zigzag stitch. And the zigzag stitch on this machine. Now I'm hearing the pink quilt here. That's what the graphic on your screen is at the moment. So we were having a few problems with that earlier. The pink graphic is now on your screen. That is correct, ready for you to go. Sorry it took so long, and thank you all for working so hard to get that right. So now I'm just going to use this fabric to double check that I've got not only the right needle, the right perfect. I'm just going to make that a bit smaller. So what you do here is all I'm doing is I'm testing my zigzag to see how wide it is and how I want it. Now, of course, I'm using cream thread on here, so you won't see it. And all I'm doing then is I'm going to take my blue piece of fabric. Now, when I start my applique, I always hand rotate my needle down into the down position and start from there. And then just very slowly take my time. I turn the speed right down. And you'll find that balance. I would practice a few pieces first to see what works best for you and how you want to do it. And all you do is you just go around ever so slowly, catching the edge of your raw edge all the way around your flower. Now, I can confess, whilst trying to do this live on air, it has not gone quite as well as it did when I was in my studio, but you can get the idea what you're going to be doing there. And I'm hoping we're not going to get too close on this because my stitching's not great, but you'll see what I mean. You're just going to put these the little zigzag on there, catching it all the way around, and you would then follow all the way around your stitching for that central panel, and your central panel will end up looking like that, assuming you want your leaves the right way round rather than the other way round. Either way, it doesn't really matter how you do it, just be consistent in how you go. And you'll see that that's your little blue flower and how you're attaching it in. It's just a nice way as well, and because it's such a nice shape and the fabric is so beautiful, it's a lovely way of just being able to practice it and see what works best for you. Ooh. It does look a bit like those marble tiles back in the day when we could go to hotels and see all those wonderful tiles on the floor. They're really good. Now, the other thing, what I was just mentioning as well, let me just go back to these, is what you need to be mindful of is when this is finished, the H for this one needs to be pointing up. That's what the finished product looks like. So when you're putting it on, that needs to be facing up. The green needs to be facing up. So when you trace these out and you're putting it on your paper to trace it out, I traced it like that, which is why it was inverted. So all you do is you put that the H is facing your fabric, and then all your leaves, where it's got a number on it or a letter on it, you're going to place those against the wrong side of your fabric. In fact, let me do that now. I think I've got a little bit of time. Perfect. And again, you just be as accurate as you can be. If you're slightly out, that's okay. It's meant to be handmade and handcrafted. Maybe not quite as rough and ready as that. And then when you cut this out, just stay as close as you can on this. And I think the key is just remembering that the letter needs to face in the same direction as the right side of your fabric. And these scissors are so sharp, you've got no worry about it getting all the way through. I was just taking my time there and keeping quiet so I didn't cut my finger off just by, which would not have been a good idea. So you can see now what I've done is I've cut that out, and the way that I've done it is I've got my letter facing up. So when I show that to my model, the one I prepared earlier, you'll see that it matches exactly the same way as opposed to the first time I did it on my demo piece where I had it going the other way. But equally, if you do them the other way round, it's not going to be a problem, because do you think this looks any better or worse when you've got there? You can see there's very little difference on it. Rotating one way or the other, it's not going to affect anything. So if you do get that the wrong way round like I did, don't worry, it's absolutely fine. You can then think of yourself as doing your beginner version like John did when he started. And there we go. So that is the applique side of this quilt. And not only is there applique, but, drum roll please, we have got foundation paper piecing. I love my foundation paper piecing, as you all know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you paper, scissors, checking I get the right ones. So you're going to then follow the pattern and print out whichever ones you need, or just copy them out however you want to. And then the colorways are in the pattern as to what color you're doing. I'm just going to double check, yes. So I always write on the back knowing exactly which color it is. And because I've got a finished product there, I just want to double check that's the right way round. So on the pattern, the best way of doing this is to show you. So the pattern is really, really easy when you wrap your head around how I've written it. So the central block is quite simple on how you get it done. That's very clear. I've shown you how to finish that off. You've done that. Then what you're going to do is you're going to add your first border. You'll put the two sides on there, and then you're going to make these pieces over here. Then this is the second border, which you'll see that this we've called the first piece of foundation paper piecing, the first design, that's the second. But you'll notice that they're all the same, they're all just different sizes. So you've got two different foundation paper piecings, they're just different sizes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to make this one, because that one there, if I rotate it, so you can see I've got that there, but if I rotate that, you'll see that the cream and the four blues are the same as that. All I've got is 4 different extra sections on that. So I'm going to show you how to make number 2 first. And when we've made that, you will be able to see how to make, I'll carry on finishing off my number 1, so you'll be able to see how to do it, because number 1 and number 2, up to step 5, are exactly the same. So there we have our pressed fabric. I'm going to now press this one again as well, just to get these nice and flat for the foundation paper piecing process. My lovely little duck from our last hour, I'm going to pop him in the corner over there, and I'm getting my ruler somewhere here. There we go. I love hiding things from myself. I'm very good at it. Am I? Oh, we're hearing about, we're going to be moving into our new studio at some point soon, and all these dream things I've been thinking about, what we're going to have, and when we get there, it'll be lovely. So all you do now, anybody who's done foundation paper piecing before, all I'm doing here, that's my A1, which is my orange center. I'm then going to be doing 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I'm going to just hopefully, there we go. So there we go. Hopefully that's going to have been done correctly. And if not, well, we're going to pretend that it is. So all I'm doing now is then I'm folding on where my stitch line's going to go. I know that my seam allowance is going to be over this side, so the wrong side of my fabric goes to the wrong side of my paper for my first piece. Then the right sides of my fabric go right sides to fabric where I'm going to sew. And you'll see when I fold that over, I need to check that my blue is going all the way around the area it's meant to cover, including the seam allowance. And if I fold that back, I need to just check I've got a seam allowance there that's enough, and I do. So all I'm doing now is making sure I don't have a zigzag stitch on here. Turn the machine back on. Now the only other thing you need to do is make sure that your stitch length is between 1.5 and 1.8. If you're a beginner, do 1.8 because you may have to unpick. If you're a little bit more advanced, do 1.5. And the reason that's important is when you come to tear your paper out, the smaller your stitch, the easier it is to take the paper. If you're a beginner, the smaller your stitch, the more difficult it is to unpick. So I'm a firm believer that you print many of these, and if you make a mistake, you put it to one side, don't unpick. And then when you've calmed and you're not quite as annoyed with yourself as that, you come back to it. That's my top tip on those, because this can be frustrating, and it doesn't matter how many years you've been doing it. When you haven't done it for a while, you will cut your piece too small, or you'll accidentally cut through the piece that you're meant to be keeping. Go on, ask me how I know. And you get so much fabric in this bundle, which I was really, really keen to make sure that we did, because if anything goes wrong, I want people to have enough fabric left over on it. And then what you're doing is everything you keep goes underneath your ruler. Everything you're getting rid of is on that side, and you get rid of that. And that's to 1/4 inch. And, oh, something's gone funny on my stitches there. But we're going to pretend it's absolutely perfect. Ah, that's what's happened. My bobbin's jumped out of its holder. There we go. If anybody ever has this happen with a stitch or a line that they've done, you'll see that it looks like your tension is completely gone. So if you can see here, you've got all these nesting threads there coming out. What's happened is your bobbin has 9 times out of 10, your bobbin has popped out of its little holder. So I'm just going to re-stitch on that line because that seam won't hold otherwise. Perfect. Oh, it's still doing it. Oh, it hasn't stuck in again. We all know what it's like. You want to make your machine work and do something, and it then causes a little bit of mayhem. Oh, I'm hearing that the pink fabric on the pink bundle for this is working really well. It's still in our lead today. So you'll see the graphics is up at the moment, is for the pink one. That looks better. Sorry about that. Oh, no, it doesn't. Oh, there's no bobbin in there at all. Oh, my. Can I get the 550? Ah. Right, we're going to pretend this is stitching absolutely fine. Sorry about that. And then all you're going to do is you're going to keep folding along and going. So the next seam is going to be your number 3. You fold that over and line up. So you're getting right sides together, folding that together. No, that's fine. That's fine. And then you're going to then stitch on that line as you go. So then everything you're getting rid of is on that side of the ruler. You keep everything you're keeping goes underneath the ruler. And then you're going to put your 1/4 inch line on and get rid of all your excess fabric there. Making sure you're getting your 1/4 inch. Now we do have those fabulous add a 1/4 inch rulers as well. Check out the website for those and you'll be able to then see exactly, those are fabulous, really good to use for this. I'm just not sure where I put them the last time I used them, so I'm using just a normal ruler on that. Then what you're doing is you just keep going, you're folding on the A4 line now, which you know you want to be doing correctly there. Exactly the same thing, you take your fabric, you pop that right sides together, you fold your piece back on the stitch line you're going to be doing, and you check that you've got a piece that goes past the lines on your fabric. And you just keep stitching all the way through. Now you see, when I do this at home, in my studio, I have this wonderful little setup. I've got me in a chair, I've got my cutting mat there, my sewing machine there, and my rotating mat there, my ironing board there. And I literally cut, sew, iron. Cut, press, iron. I don't know how to iron. Don't know how to iron. Did I tell you that Andrew the other day when I did that on air and I showed him how I was pressing, I came home and the ironing board was set up with all my shirts on it with my little prim iron, and he said, there you go, press those. So there we go. We then just fold that back and we're going to then press along there as cleanly as we can. And then last but not least, you can see that that really is not that hard. It's a really nice block to do. You're then going to take your next piece, do exactly the same thing, fold it over there, and you're then just going to move this ever so slightly up because of the seam allowance is a bit big there. And then you're sewing your last seam on this one. So what I've just shown you now is your border pieces. You're going to do that for every single piece. But all that'll change is for some of them, you're going to add 4 more seams to it. And I'll show you what that means now. So all I'm doing now is getting rid of everything I don't need. There we go. And then I'm pressing this down. Fold that back. So we're at that point now where you've sewn all 4 of your pieces down. Rotate that round. And I'm going to now trim this. Now the issue with trimming, this is really important to take note of, is when you are trimming, you've got to be consistent. The reason being is if I trim this, where's my pointy sticky thing? There we go. So when I stitch this, I'm stitching on the line. So I know that my stitch line here is when I join this either to a border or to another piece of this that'll make a border. This bit here is my seam allowance. So when I trim this, I personally don't trim this on that line. I'm going 1 thread on this side of the line. And the reason being is that if I know that I'm going 1 thread on this side of the line all the way along, I still have this line to refer to. So if I cut this line away, I don't know whether I've got this at exactly 1/4 of an inch less 1 thread, or whether I've gone 1/8 of an inch, because you can't judge that gap. So when I do this, I put my ruler right on the side here, and I can just see this little grey line there. I can just see that on this side of the ruler over there. So when I cut this, you'll see I've just got a tiny little bit of paper on that end. And if I've been clever and set this up on my rotating cutting mat at the beginning, because these rotating cutting mats really come into their own with the foundation paper piecing process. And then again, I'm going to take my ruler, line that up with my 1/4 inch. I'm going to slide it 1 little hair that side of my line. Make sure I don't wobble. And you can see that the gap on this side and the gap on that side is now consistent. So when I come to join these pieces together, when I line the paper up exactly with the papers of the next one, it'll fit perfectly. So when I do my stitching on my dark line, that should, in theory, line up exactly all the way along. So there we go. I now have got my papers. That's all trimmed off. Now, are you ready? Are you ready for the big reveal? That's your block. Now, when I stitch this onto the borders, you will then be able to get your border just touching it there, so it'll work perfectly. So that is exactly what you're going to do for every single piece. Now, I'm not going to deny some of these pieces are 1.5 inches. Or 1 inch, or 2 inches. They do get quite small, but that's actually a lot easier than you think. So on the back here, you'll see I've sewn 4 lines. On the back here, I've sewn 4 lines. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to sew 4 lines around the edge. And that is going to be in my orange. So I just realized I've cut my orange pieces out here. All I'm going to do now, so I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm now going to stitch number 6. So I fold on my number 6 line to check what my stitch line is going to be. I then take my piece, I line that up, and I can see that's going to fit perfectly. And now I'm going to stitch on that line. Now, one of the questions I get asked a lot, 2 of the questions I get asked a lot are, when do I rip my papers out? That's my first question I get asked a lot. And then the second question I get asked a lot is, what rotary cutter do you use to cut this out? So first question is, I leave all my papers in until I am ready to quilt my quilt. I leave them all in till the very, very end. I don't take them out. Even when the borders are on, I leave them all in till the very, very end. Main reason being is that there's bias absolutely everywhere. If you leave the papers in, it just protects it that little bit longer. You don't have to worry about it quite as much. The next thing is I have my very own foundation paper piecing rotary cutter. So I will be changing that blade a lot more than I change my normal blade, because I'm going through a lot more rotary cutter blades than I normally would if I was just cutting fabric. So where I would be changing my blade every sort of 6 to 8 hours of cutting with fabric, I'll be changing my blade every 3 to 4 hours with my foundation paper piecing. And with regards to size, I usually use a 28mm when I'm doing my foundation paper piecing, but because especially when you're doing things a bit smaller, I think the smaller the easier. But when it just depends. To be fair, normally I can't be bothered to get up and go and get the other one, so it's whatever's closest to me. But I do prefer the 28mm for foundation paper piecing, because you'll see when I'm cutting this out, you can see it's such a small blade. I've got a lot more control of the fabric and of the blade to be able to do it. And at that price point of $6.99, I personally just prefer doing that. And I think, and the other thing is the blades to replace are cheaper with a smaller blade. So anyway, that's my, and at that price, I do get a few of them. Well, I do have many, many rotary cutters because I do different, I've got them all, because I just find it's a lot easier having them that I know that that one is the fabric one. That's the one that we cut samples with in the shop. That's what I cut wadding with. If I'm trimming quilts down as well, I've got a separate rotary cutter for that. It just makes it easier. But it's, as long as you change your blade regularly, it's not going to be a problem. So you can see all I've done now is another three stitch lines over what I've done previously on the first demo. And you've got a huge amount of layers here, but again, this 28mm just goes all the way through very comfortably, not a problem at all. Oh, my seam wasn't cut very straight there. There we go. See, when you've been doing it for as long as I have, you can tell when you've done something a little bit wonky. There we go. Brilliant. One more seam to go. Now, I'm not going to daunt you and tell you exactly how many of these you need to make all the way along, but we can count them out if you like. I think there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 36, 40, 44, 48. You need to make 48 of these in total. But look how some of them are so tiny, you won't even feel doing them. Hopefully. But the thing is as well, it's such a beautiful, beautiful quilt. The price point is exceptional. I am so astonished that we were able to do this at such a great price for you, because it's just such a lovely, lovely quilt to do. And you're going to be expanding your skill set, because if nothing, I love being able to do anything that's going to expand my knowledge, expand my skills. And for the applique side of things, the great thing there, if you've done applique before and you've only ever used a zigzag, try the blanket stitch. Try all the different ways. Maybe you want to do some hand appliquing. Maybe you want to add a 1/4 inch around it and do some turned edged applique. That could be beautiful as well. The great thing with this is that it's such a great price point. The templates are absolutely gorgeous, really, really easy to use, really, really versatile. You could see just by putting these two on one piece of fabric, and of course now I've lost it. Where did he go? My two little flowers together, you saw just how pretty they looked just together on their own with no extra effort at all. You see, and the good thing is when you've got fabric left over with this, which you do, you can make a cushion with it. So you get an additional piece that goes with your fabric, with your piece that you've made. There's my little There. You can see even that on its own looks so pretty. And the good thing with this is perhaps you want to then, once you've done this, maybe you then think, actually, I've got a bit of cream fabric left over. What I want to do is actually, I really like this border. Maybe I'm going to just put an extra cream border on. Maybe you can't see that there. Put an extra cream border with just a whole load of flowers around the corner. And the great thing is having the templates, there's loads of different options for you to be able to do that. So all I'm going to do, the last thing that's left to do for this piece is you're going to trim off the edges. And again, remember I said to you before, you want to make sure that you're cutting them consistently all the way through. So you'll see I haven't cut on that light grey line on the outside. I've actually moved it ever so slightly over so that that light grey line stays on your piece. And I'll show you why in a few seconds. So there we go. Now you can see I've cut this with that same gap on the side there. And if I flick that over, how pristine is that? And the edges here are so perfect. Now what I was saying to you about cutting these together, because you'll see in border 2 over here, you're joining all these together. Now what's so important when I mentioned to you about piecing these and cutting them together is because I've cut these with the same gap on either side, when I line these up and I want to join them together, I'm going to be very brave and I'm not pinning it. This is normally where things go horribly wrong. There we go. Look at that. Now with these, I always press my seams open. The reason being here is you've got so many different layers of fabric meeting at that point over there. So if you don't press your seams open, when you come to quilt it, you are going to have lumps and bumps, and those lumps and bumps will cause you a big problem. I'm just going to press that open now to show you. And having that extra little bit of that, because here I'm not doing a full scant 1/4 inch, but you can tell, look how beautifully that's met in the middle there. You can see that that just meets perfectly there, really, really great. And then that fits onto your quilts like that. And you can see you then put those all the way along going on there. So that's why the cutting of the edges do make your life a lot easier by leaving that ever so slight hair left on that. So that is how you're going to make it. These are how you're making the 2 foundation paper piecings. You'll see that these are the same pieces that you use. So that's this one here, that one there. And then this one over here with just the blue and the orange, that's the corners that you're making there all the way through. So that's how you make these. You've been able to see how we're doing those beautiful appliques. You've got all these fabulous templates that you'll be able to use to do your own additions to it. For myself, I adore double-sided quilts. So when you come to do the back of this quilt, maybe you just want to put 4 of these in the center, or maybe you just want to cut a whole load of these out and you make a whole back out of this. And because this is such a good size, you can expand it. So you could then put you could have a whole section of these in the middle and keep the borders going all the way through. You just keep buying loads of fabric on it. You know what I'm like, buy as much fabric as you can possibly get. I'm hearing that the pink is still in the lead at the moment, which I'm not surprised by. Really beautiful, beautiful fabrics, really great products there. And I'm so pleased I was able to share this with you. We're going to recap. I'm going to start with the kit, so let me show you what you're getting with all of these. There I am, just rushing away. Give me 5 seconds. I'm going to put this in our little charity bag that we've got over here. All these little bits of fabric that we get lost on here. Get rid of these. Sorry, I'm doing my little tidy up section now so I can show you exactly what you're getting. So the first thing you're going to get is our wonderful pattern. Oh, that fits perfectly there. You're getting this wonderful pattern. No, that's fine. So that's what it is there, and you'll be able to get all the templates, everything you need, and you'll see we've expanded our patterns now so that they're much easier for you to read. You've got all the templates at the back. You've got the full layout of where the design's meant to go. I think I've taken that out of the... I've been using it, so I've got that out somewhere. But you'll have a full guide as to exactly how you're doing that. You're getting 1.5 meters of the blue. You're getting 1 meter of this orange. You're getting 1 meter of the cream. And then 0.5 meter of the misty blue. Now, you have got a lot of fabric left over on this project as well, so you will be able to then play around with it, make your own additions with it. And for £39.99, you're getting 4 meters of fabric, as well as these incredible instructions with all those gorgeous templates. So you're going to be spoiled for choice on how to do it. So that was our blue colorway, which makes this quilt here. Ends up being 42 inches wide at the moment, but you can play with it. You can do your own additions to it if you'd like. Then say if you prefer the pink, which most of you are preferring at the moment, you're getting 1.5 meters of this gorgeous pink mottled fabric. I love that. You're then getting 1 meter of the orange. You're getting 1 meter of the cream. And then finally, last but not least, you're getting 0.5 meter of the misty blue, which just works so beautifully to make such a beautiful quilt. And then behind us, this is what the finished quilt looks like. 42 inches as well, and you'll easily be able to play with those and do your own little embellishments on things as well. Now, while we've got this all out, I'm just going to recap our beautiful early bird today. The reason being is if you make this quilt, you're going to need some backing. And the price that we've got on this today, just look how beautifully this backing goes with that. It just pops. It's such a beautiful colour. And even with the pink, if I pop that in the middle, you can see that goes so beautifully. There's 2.5 meters of this today. For £13.96, you get effectively getting 0.5 meter for free, but just look at this beautiful colour. Is that just not most gorgeous, gorgeous colour there? Absolutely stunning. Blue, the colour of the year by Pantone, and you can see why it's such a soothing colour. And it goes with everything. If you pop this on as a backing of a quilt, a lining of a bag, or even if you're just looking to make a lovely summer dress. We had those gorgeous aprons on yesterday with Alice and Marion. You can just imagine this being such a beautiful bright colour to do an apron on. And then with what you've got left over with your kit there, look at that, doing your binding in that with that colour. That would work really well as well. It's just one of the most versatile colours that most of us have in our collection, and at that price, adding it into your stash, you won't be regretting it there. £13.96 for the 2.5 meters there, effectively getting 0.5 meter for free. We've got our one-day P&P, $3.95, so it doesn't matter how much you purchase through the day, how many orders you do, you're only paying that £3.95 postage today. So look forward to being able to share this wonderful deal with you. We're going to redo the set now, and we're going to bring back Cara in a few minutes doing leatherwork. Thank you so much.
Hi there, I'm Debbie Shaw, and I would love for you to join me for my birthday celebrations on Monday the 6th of July. We're going to be live for 5 hours, all the way from 8 o'clock in the morning through to 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We're going to have special deals for you. They've got lots of special offers. I'm going to be signing photographs to everybody that places an order, and there's going to be demonstrations from both myself and from Delphine Brooks as well. So hopefully you can join me on Monday the 6th at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'll see you then.
You on the show?
Shopping with us couldn't be easier. If you want to shop online, then you can head to our website, www.sewingstreet.com. It will redirect you to our sister channel Jewellery Makers landing page. Don't worry, you haven't gone to the wrong place. We're simply using their website temporarily while we're building our own web shop. Scroll down past the Watch Live part, and you'll see all of the products that you will have seen on air on today's live show. You can also shop our catalogue by clicking a category, clicking a product to view closer, and adding it to your basket. Once you're ready to check out, you will need to create an account, which is absolutely free to do so, but it will mean that you can check out on as many orders as you want throughout the day with still only paying one postage and packaging. If you'd prefer to speak to somebody in our UK-based customer service team, then you can do so via the free telephone line number 0800 001 4433. They will not only help you create an account, but will also help you with any of your online shopping.
If you love sewing, then you need the UK's favourite sewing magazine. Every month, you'll receive exclusive patterns. Follow simple step-by-step guides suitable for all skill levels to make your own stunning clothes, accessories and more, together with inspiring tips and tricks from industry experts. Join in and discover your love for sewing. Try Love Sewing today and get your first 3 issues for just £6.
Hello there, I'm Debbie Shaw and I would love you to join me on the first Monday of every single month for Sewing Street Surgery. Now this is a dedicated hour where I answer your questions, and that could be questions about techniques, it could be questions about tools, it could be questions about new products, or maybe something that you've seen that you just don't understand. There's a lot of questions about tensions on sewing machines, and there's a lot of questions about working with different weights of fabrics. So if you have a question that you'd like to ask me, the easiest way to bring a question over to us is to go to our Facebook page and post your question on there. I will collate all of those questions throughout the week. If we need any new products for you, or if we need any new demonstrations, those will all be worked on leading up to that first Monday of the month. So do join me, Debbie Shaw, on Sewing Street Surgery on the first Monday.
Hello, I'm Catherine Wright. I'm from Leicestershire Craft Centre, which is based in Market Harborough. I love all kinds of sewing, but probably my favourite thing to do is dressmaking. But I also teach patchwork and free motion embroidery and anything to do with textiles really. I love to have a go at felting and crochet and knitting and you name it, I'll have a go at it. So I started sewing when I was 7. My mum taught me to sew, and the very first thing I made was an apron. But I'm a terribly impatient person. I just want to get on with the project. So I didn't wait for her to help me cut it out, and I cut it out myself, and I didn't know you had to have a seam allowance. So I made the world's smallest apron, and my mum still has it somewhere. Sewing tips, I would say, I teach a lot of people to sew, especially beginners, and I would say don't get disheartened, take your learning journey slowly. Don't expect to suddenly make a ball gown or suddenly make a king size quilt. Build up your skills, slowly. And I would also say the iron is your friend. Use your iron a lot. It makes your sewing look so much better. It helps you get things in place where you want it before you sew, and is a really handy thing to have.
Would you like to take part in our weekly competition? If you do, then all you have to do is head to the Sewing Street fan page group on Facebook. Post your picture of your make. Myself, Debbie Shaw, and John Cole Morgan love looking at all of your makes every week. We pick our favourite and announce the winner every Friday live on the show. Happy sewing and good luck.
Hello everyone, I'm Delphine Brooks. It's so great to be here and part of the Sewing Street family. I'm local, I'm only down the road in Warwickshire. I started sewing many years ago when I was very young, doing lots of art and painting, and eventually I went into textiles, and I really enjoyed doing the two together. I then had a bit of a break. Something you don't know about me maybe is that I spent many years in the Royal Air Force and eventually in the police as well. And then I went full circle and I've come back to my happy place of sewing, and which I really enjoy. My best sewing tip is measure twice and cut once. I have chipped up a couple of times by not measuring properly, and I do always regret it. So now I always measure twice, cut once. Anyway, I really hope to be with you again soon, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.
Welcome back. We've got Cara back and she's got the most fabulous little samples. I'm so excited. And if one disappears in my bag, thank you so much. So, we're looking at a book called Leathercraft, Inspirational Projects for You and Your Home. $9.90. How much is this one? $9.99, brand new today. And just look at the projects we've got in this book. Absolutely adorable. Absolutely loving this. So you can see now all these fabulous different products here. I love the fact on the lapel you can have one of these, your very own little leather, what are we calling those bouquets? Corsage, that's the word I was looking for. But these are so brilliant. And I love the fact that you can then do all these beautiful embossing on the leather as well. Friendship bracelets. Oh, and you can even, it teaches you how to sew those together and do all your needling, your stitching on that with a needle. A luggage tag. Gosh, back in the day when we could still travel.
Oh.
Remember those days? Won't be too long, won't be too long. I'm loving this daisy belt and I'm seeing a sample of it there. Does that mean you're going to do us a little demo on that?
I'm hoping to show as much as I can because actually there's lots and lots and lots of different techniques in there.
Brilliant.
So I'm really going to, it's going to be more technique rather than an actual
project specific.
From start to finish. So.
I'm loving these necklaces that you can do with all these beautiful, beautiful designs. I think I see a necklace there as well.
Yes.
You have been busy.
I got a bit carried away. I've never done leather craft
that's
before.
one of my things that I do when I get a new ruler from Creative Grids. I'm a firm believer, if you get carried away and you can't stop sewing, it's the tool you need to buy or the book you need to buy because you are so addicted to doing it. And when you don't notice you've been doing it for 6 or 8 hours, then you know you've done it right.
Like, have you done enough?
Wow, look at that. Beautiful, beautiful leather belt, this. And the book's only £10, $9.99. How many projects are we getting in here? Do we know?
Lots. I don't know the exact number. I'm not sure if they say.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
25.
Look at you.
It says on the back of the book.
It says on the back, if only you read the book properly. I'm loving these little bags and purses. That's one you've made there. Really beautiful. And I'm assuming you... Oh, wow, look at that.
Oh, I love that.
I have to say, I'm looking at that and thinking, gosh, I need a new laptop cover. That would be perfect. Joe, who works here, has got a gorgeous laptop case that he carries his pad in, his laptop in, and I absolutely adore that. So
you have to make one.
Well, I can't find the fabric to do it in, but I have to say, I do think that there's... I'm just thinking now, as I was saying that, a leather one would be great. This drawstring pouch is beautiful. That's what you've made there, isn't it?
Yes, I've made a little drawstring pouch, but once you've made one, you want to make a few and make them bigger. So,
so this one's an 8-inch square one that you've made there.
Yes.
But I'm assuming using the same, you could make it as big as you like.
Same technique. There's lots of projects in there that I thought, oh, actually you could scale that up and make different sizes, which is really good.
I'm loving this. Oh, a fringed bag. Oh, I like it. They should lock their rotary cutter. I'm fastidious on rotary cutters.
You're going to be scared then today because
we're
not working with rotary cutters.
I don't mind working with it. What I hate is when people leave them on the side and
I
they're
know,
open.
but we're working with knives.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
No, it's because knives, you know it's a knife.
Yes.
But rotary cutter, people leaving their blades open, they can catch themselves, and that's the last thing you want. A clutch bag. Oh, they've got so many lovely bits in here. Oh, a lovely coin purse. Oh, wow, look at that. I kind of feel like my laptop bag now needs to have some studding on it.
That would be
looks
good.
amazing.
Yeah. As long as you've got it protected.
I wonder if I could do my initials in it.
Yes.
That's
and as long as it's protected.
Oh, I'm thinking putting another piece of leather on the outside of it to protect it.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it. Pencil cases. Oh, pencil cases with elastic. You don't think leather would use elastic? You don't, because you just think it's one of those fabrics that would just be non-elastic or elasticatable.
They've just added the elastic, so
oh,
it's
right.
just
So
it's not
This
actual
is
leather.
fab. And the great thing is here, they're showing you how to do the embossing as
Yes.
well. And then the jewellery basket, that looks, oh, that's what that is.
Yes.
That is beautiful. They've locked their rotary cutter now.
Somebody must have said something. Somebody must have said something.
So there we go. We've got this wonderful book, 25 different projects. $9.99 for this book here today. But not only have we got the book, we've got all these wonderful bags of leather for you. Should we? So we've got this is what, 2 kilos of the black, 2 kilos of black leather, and it's got great quality. So this is 100% real leather. Great feel to it as well.
It's very soft.
2
I tried
kilos.
to work out what they'd used it for. Had they used it for upholstery, for car making, or
Yeah,
you know,
it's a
the car
sofa,
seats,
yeah.
or jackets or
'Cause
bags.
it really
it's very
feels
soft.
soft.
Yes.
And the thing is as well, they've got the markings of the chalk on them.
Yes.
Which, so you can get an idea of size, because obviously each size will be a different piece.
Yes.
Oh, if you look at that, we can see all the different shapes that have been cut out as well. Gosh, that is an odd shape, isn't it?
So yes.
So you get loads of different scrap sizes on there, but the quality, as you say, it's really soft.
Really nice. And in fact, you've got the leather on one side, and then you've got the suede,
The
on,
suede
the
on the other.
So you can actually
You could do it
play
the other
around
way
with
around
it.
as well.
You know, I've done that with the necklace. I've done the red.
Oh yes.
And then I've turned it over, and it's exactly the same fabric, but you've got
Just
a slightly
flipping it
different
over.
colour, just flipping it over. So
I have a friend she hates any form of colour. She only ever uses black. So this would be perfect for her to make a
Yes.
necklace like that.
Yeah.
You just plop it round one way or the other. But it does feel really soft. And the great thing is there are different variations on it, because I know black is black, I suppose, but you look at the colour there and you can see that there are 2 different blacks on the leather, so it comes through very differently. You're getting different pieces of the black combination there as well. You'll see there's 3 different colours there. This is just our samples here, and don't worry if you've got chalk on it, just a little bit of rubbing on it or some little bit of water on it, that'll come out as well. So you'll see there's slightly different shades of the black in there, but the feel of it is great. And I love the fact that you're going to have to do some adjustments to what you're going to make and how you're going to use the fabric, because you'll have different pieces and different shapes and different sizes all the way through. But each of these bags will be, is the other bag 2 kilos as well? Both of them are 2 kilos. The black was $34.99. Gosh, that's a very heavy bag, that, 2 kilos. And then you've got the mixed bag as well. All the different colourways in here as well. So is that where you got the red from, one of these?
yes, and in fact, I love that colour.
That is
I
beautiful.
didn't
Look
have
at the
that colour in
tan.
mine. Yeah.
So that's the thing, just to, hang on. Oh,
that's
look
nice.
at that. So the great thing is you get little snippets of colour in here as you go, oh, there's a bigger piece. Oh, wow, that's huge. Look at that. Oh, and we've got a little red piece as well. Totally different reds there, and you've got this gorgeous tan, and you've got the cream as well.
And brown.
And brown,
Yeah.
and you've got some black.
Yeah.
Gosh, this is lovely. Oh, there's another brown. Oh, these are great. And they're different qualities as well. So this one's a slightly thinner quality
Yes.
than this, but equally as soft as
Yes,
well.
Yeah.
That's great. So this one's also 2 kilos, available for $34.99. Lovely, lovely product, that. So now that we've shown you exactly what it is that we're going to be able to sell you to do this, show us what we can make.
Ooh.
Go on, no pressure there.
No pressure. I was going to start actually with the leather and just show you.
So you're using the mixed bag.
Yeah, I've got the mixed bag here. I've also got the black. But when I got it, I thought, oh gosh, you know, what am I going to make? How much is there and everything? So I actually spent quite a lot of time sorting it. So I sorted the small little bits that you can use for lots of little projects. But then I wanted to see how big some of the pieces were. So I actually sorted it.
Brilliant.
Not graded it, but...
Well, it is grading of
yeah.
some sort.
Went through and, went through and had a good old look. And you can see, look how big that piece is.
Oh my goodness. Obviously, this will vary bag to
It
bag
will,
depending on
it
what you're
will.
getting, but you can see the scope of how much you're
But
getting
a
on
lot
some
of the
pieces.
projects within that book, you can make from this size.
Oh, brilliant.
All the samples that I've made, which I'll go through in a minute, I've made from
this-
you know, all...
from everything that was in the bag.
So, you know, you do tend to have quite large pieces as well. So, you know, that lovely bag that you saw, I thought, oh, I could have made one of those. So I did, as I say, I had to stop
There's
because
still
I was
time,
getting...
darling. There's still time.
So that was lovely. So that was really, really nice to sort of go through and I did exactly the same with the black bag as well, of the pieces. And then I think the next thing I wanted to sort of explain to you was, you were saying about the chalk marks. I found actually just rubbing it didn't sort of move it. I also found soapy water wasn't brilliant at getting rid of it completely. And I thought, what have I got at home that I might be able to use? And there are lots of suggestions on YouTube of what you can use to sort of clean the leather. But what I ended up using was a leather cleaner.
Oh, right.
So this one, it's not... there's lots and lots and lots of leather cleaners out there.
There are, yes.
So, you know, this is just a leather cleaner. What they suggest on one of the YouTube channels is actually getting your sponge and adding a bit of the leather cleaner there.
Oh, you can see it's foaming
onto
up
the
there.
sponge,
Yes.
and making it sort of foam up like that. And then I found that actually just rubbing it round
Oh gosh, that comes
like
off completely.
that. You might have to do it a couple
And
of
of course,
times.
because it's a leather cleaner, it's definitely not going to damage your
No,
leather at all.
and the reason why they say use a sponge, you don't want much pressure, so you don't want to sort of push onto the leather, because that's when you can damage it, I think. So, you know, if you're just doing it like that, and then just with a cloth.
Oh, what a top tip!
You can see there's a
can
couple
see
of
there's
little
a tiny
marks.
little bit of
Yeah,
marks there,
so
so
you
you need
just
to do it
carry
2 or
on.
3
You just
times.
do it 2 or 3 times. And again, this was sort of part of my prep, was sort of going through, and because now I've got a larger piece of leather that I can use. So that's, you know, something that I found. And as I say, you'll have lots of things at home, and because you get so much leather, you'll be able to actually have a look, see what you've got in your cupboard, have a go, and just, you know, on a scrap of the leather, just have a go and find what works for you. And it was just nice. It was just nice to see how much leather I had, you know, to play with. The other thing was, when it comes in the bag and everything, and I thought, oh, it's, you know, going to be all creased up. How am I going to get rid of the creases? So again, I love YouTube. I looked on YouTube, and you can use an iron. So don't worry about it.
I didn't know that.
You use the iron on the other side.
On the suede side?
Yes, and you can actually use it with steam.
Now, see,
And
one
it
of the
gets
top
rid of
tips I ever had was that if it's ever a hot sunny day, you just put it in the sun and
You
it
can,
just flattens out from there.
Yes, but I don't know if I've got a really creased up piece. Find a little
You
bit.
could make a really creased up piece. Go on, squish it
Yeah.
out. Go on, give it a good old scrunch.
So, irons on. So you
Careful, it
can see,
might be a bit warm.
yeah, you can see that is quite creased. I will have cleaned off the white.
Yes.
And then turned it over and just gently.
Directly on it? No.
Yes.
Okay.
You don't leave it on there.
No, you're moving
because
it
then
all
that
along.
will, you know, flatten
Score it, yeah.
the actual suede. But then that sort of gets rid of a lot of the creases. I didn't want to do it actually on
No.
that side, but I did find that it was very easy to do it on that side.
Gosh, that's
so
brilliant.
it was the heat and the steam that helps. So you know,
Good
that
to
was really
know.
good. So a lot of the projects that I started working on, I prepared the leather like that, which was great. So, oh, it was so exciting. I didn't know where to start.
I know.
So what I wanted to do is just go through and show you little bits and pieces. This is a daisy belt, and it's got a lovely sort of daisy pattern on there. And I didn't have everything to make a belt, but I thought I would have a go at just
doing
making
the
a strip.
technique,
Yes. So this is a strip of leather. They do tell you to cut it to a certain width to make sure that the daisy shape will fit on. But obviously that's personal choice, so you can make it as wide as you like or as narrow as you like. With this soft leather, I felt that actually this width was quite a nice width for it. So you'll take your
and that's
strip
a nice
of leather.
bracelet size as well.
I
isn't
know,
it?
that was the other thing. I thought, oh yes, you could actually put
Nice little bracelet there.
And we've got some of the
clasps
fastenings and things
for
like that, so you could actually put that as a bracelet. You can play around with the different colours as well.
But even like an embellishment on a bag or something, that would work really, really well.
And because I love embroidery, it was just like, oh my gosh, I can embroider on this.
Perfect.
And you'll use one of the tools.
So we've got one of these available today. What are we calling this? This is a revolving punch plier.
So that has all the different sizes of circles. And,
oh yes.
And then there's a metal plate there, and the actual size of the circle there, it's quite sharp, and you can move that round. So whichever size you want
to do, you can
and
go
you can
from
hear
there.
it click when it's in the right position. So I'm sure a lot of you might have one of these or used them before when you've had a belt that's maybe too big or too small, and you know, you need to sort of either add extra holes on the belt. So you just move it round like that.
Oh, and it rotates either way.
Yes.
Because these are brand new to us today. We've never had these on before. We're able to bring these to you at £12.99 today. And the good thing with these, I'm guessing that they would last for years.
Yes, they do. I found a pair that I had at home, and I thought, oh, great, you know, that's really good. So they still work, you know, which is really good.
They were bought so long ago you'd forgotten you had them.
I did.
Exactly.
As I say, I've never used leather before, so it was really, really nice and exciting to sort of have a go at something new and something different. And as I say, I love the fact that it combined my love of embroidery
with the different technique on that.
So,
and they're really easy to use, that you can just press them nicely. They're not difficult to do, and the rotating them is quite easy as well.
Yes, and
it rotates both ways too.
Yes, the only thing that I would say is that you want to use the bottom part of the handles. I haven't got a very good grip, so I had to get my husband to do it. But
quite right.
The majority of you will have a good grip, but I haven't got a good grip. But it's right at the bottom where the handles are that you need to you know, squeeze together. You can actually hear it going through the leather as well, which is good.
Well, I think we're going to see you do some, aren't we?
Well, I've got my husband to do a couple of bits just in case.
Shall I open this one and I can...
Yeah, or yes, if you want to.
Have you got some...
Yep, I'll pass you some leather.
I can use this leather next to me.
Yeah. Okay, so you trace the design from here, and then on the tracing paper or normal paper, you actually make your holes, and we've done a large hole in the centre and then little holes around the edge. And then you place that onto the leather, and you'll actually, I think it was that one, you'll actually pass the cutting blade over the paper and into the leather. And then that's where you squeeze, and you'll be able to hear it click. And then for the larger hole, just move that round and then place it over the centre hole there. And again, just squeeze, and you'll be able to feel
And then that template you can use repeatedly all the way through.
Yes.
Just make sure you're not cutting the template.
And you can use this technique to actually decorate and embellish. So, you know, so where you had some of those cutout areas, that's where you can actually use them.
All right, I'm going to give this a go. So all I've done is taken a piece of leather.
Yeah.
I've chosen the largest one because you said you did large ones and little ones.
Yeah.
So I'm just pressing that together there. Oh gosh, it's already made its little mark.
And you, as I say, if you, at the end...
Oh, you hear that little click?
Yeah.
Oh, isn't that fun? Oh, I don't think I clicked that hard enough. Oh, I see what you mean about the edge. You've really got to get to that edge.
And if it's made a little hole, you can actually...
flop it round.
Yes.
Ah, that's what I'm looking for. Brilliant.
So
brilliant.
that's how you make the holes.
Oh, I can see why you're hooked on this. Sorry, Cara, I don't want to take away from your demo,
fine.
but that is really fun.
You got the technique.
Okay, I'm hooked. I'll be back in an hour. This is really good fun. You just carry on. I'm going to keep clicking.
So to actually stitch then, you've got your holes in the leather, and because the suede is quite textured on the back, you can actually just slide your needle in. I'm using 6 strands of the stranded cotton. And
is that how much you'd recommend?
Yes. Then you can just pull that through. I wouldn't put a knot or anything like that. I'd actually just do a couple of stitches on the back just to hold that thread in position. And then...
So I'm guessing because you're technically not going through leather, you don't need a leather needle, do you?
Not on this particular one. If you were hand sewing 2 pieces of leather together,
yes, and that's a different
when
story,
you use, yes. So then to do the daisy, you come from the centre hole, the large hole, and as I say, with all 6 strands, you go to one of the holes on the outside, and you do 3 stitches altogether. And this forms the petal, one of the petals on your... And see how quick and easy this is? And I love it because the holes are already there, so you're not having to sort of decide where you're going to put your needle. And then you just carry on stitching round. And give the thread a little bit of a pull so it lays nice and flat together, and carry on.
Gosh, you're very quick at that.
So, well, it is quick. It's just really, really quick and simple. So it's just straight stitches. And as you're going backwards and forwards, just pull it, go back to the centre. And so these are your petals of your daisies.
Very effective.
So that's exactly what we've got here. So you can see the actual yellow in the centre, that is a French knot. And then these are the stems, and that's just 2 long stitches, and you can alternate, you know, going from the top and the bottom. So that's all you need to be able to make a belt like this. So,
brilliant.
Which is really good.
And you can do it any size you like, as you said.
You can, and you can make your bracelets, you can use the different colours, you can choose your thread. It doesn't have to be the white with the yellow. So that's...
Because you could do a blue daisy and then a white one and a green one, and you can do it any way you like.
So another one that I wanted to have a go with was the flower necklace. So you have some different,
really sweet.
different
shapes
templates there. And I just traced those onto tracing paper again. And then I drew onto the leather. So I drew round the shapes onto the leather. And again, I used a friction pen because you can iron it. You can use the iron and the friction pen, and the marks disappear. So, you know, it's just really good. So you can actually do it straight onto the leather. So I've alternated between the leather and the suede, and then I've added some beads in the centre, and it's really, really easy to stitch through because all of the leather is not very thick. And you know, you can get really, you know, the leather that's used for like satchels and things like that is quite thick and quite firm. This is lovely because it's nice and soft. You can actually stitch straight through it. So I was able to stitch through it with quite fine needles as well to get through the beads and just do that. And then there's a band there on which you can actually add the flowers. So again, you know, I did, if I've got it here, I did a couple of extras. And if you really wanted to get carried away, you could get carried away, and you can make a brooch. So you can...
that is adorable.
You can add the beads and everything, and then just stick the brooch backing onto the back of the... I didn't want to sew it because you'd see where the stitches were.
But I'm just looking at that and thinking, hair
Oh,
accessories.
yes.
One of my friends, she every time we do a Zoom talk, she's got this giant flower in her head, and I just saw that and thought, gosh, that would be beautiful.
I know, I should have done earrings. I've got butterfly earrings in today, which were a present, but you could do earrings, you know, with the little ones. So you could do a whole set. You could do a bracelet and maybe put one of these on it. So, you know, you can get carried away. But what I love is just the ideas that they're giving you. So, so that was the little flower one. Then another one that I had a go at, well, I'm going to actually, hopefully if there's time, demonstrate this one, because I'm going to show you how easy it is to actually use the sewing machine.
Of course.
Which is really good. Although on the sewing machine I've actually put a leather needle. If you don't have a leather needle, just use a very, very strong needle, and it does pass through very easily. But I will show you that in a moment.
So just briefly, just for people who don't know, what is the difference between a leather needle and a normal needle?
It's got a sharp edge to it, so it cuts through the actual the leather as you're sewing.
Yes.
A normal sewing needle is just smooth and got a point.
Yes.
And this one, it's just got, I think at the end, I couldn't see completely, but I think at the end it's just got like a sharp edge, so it cuts into the leather, and it's strong. It's a really, really strong needle. But this particular one, I made the little leather wallet there, and that was just so easy. It was so easy. And that's just got a loop that goes through a cut.
Gosh,
and
that
then
is
you've
clever.
got, and that's again is just on the sewing machine, so very, very easy to sew. And you just pull that through,
and then button it up.
then button it up, just pass that over the button. And again, because you can sew through the leather by hand or by machine, it's easy to add the button. But I'm hopefully, if we've got time, I'm going to have a go at doing that one. So that was the purse and the wallet. I made a long list of all the things, and I just tried to make sure that I had enough, and I had plenty.
Of course.
This is all I've got left.
Brilliant.
So you know that
so
I
that's
can...
just, gosh, that's quite a lot. You've
Yes.
made loads.
So
what are you going to show us then for your demo?
So for the demo, if you want me to do the demo, shall I finish going
Yes,
through
let's
the
do
book?
one of those, yes.
Yeah. So for the demo, I was going to show you how to do one of these.
Perfect.
Okay. I'll just finish going through these. So this is the drawstring pouch, and that's very easy. I can show you how to do that later this time. And then these ones are just adorable.
That's
and
great.
they've got fabric.
Is that part of your demo?
I have got one of
brilliant.
these, so I can do one of those. But this is just normal cotton fabric with bondaweb.
Oh, right.
And you bondaweb it to the suede side.
Gosh, how clever.
And again with the iron, it's, you know,
Brilliant.
and you can either have rivets at the edge there, or you can do poppers, and then it will just
expand out accordingly.
Open out
Well, let's do that
like
one
that.
first, because that looks really fun.
Well, there's no stitching on this one, so I wanted to try and do it, if that's okay.
Of course, of course.
There's no stitching, but I would like to show you that. There's no stitching on that one, but I would like to show you both of those as well. So this is the one I'm doing now. That's okay.
Absolutely.
Go back to this one.
Because the great thing is, this is it seems to be very beginner friendly as well.
It is, yes. And you know, if you're happy cutting and following patterns and instructions, then you know it's really good. You know, really, really good. So this particular one is the purse and the wallet. So I'm just making the little purse, and you have templates here. They actually say to enlarge that by 250%. Now my printer at home, I couldn't get the paper on there to make it big enough. So what I did, I just measured across there and I multiplied it up.
Of course.
And just cut the
Did it that
shape.
way.
But you can do it whatever size you
want to do it
want.
for.
You can make it sort of whatever size you want. And then I thought, well, how am I going to draw the lovely curvy shapes around there? 2p piece.
Brilliant.
So I just popped the 2p piece in the middle of the leather and drew around it. I think I've drawn around that actually with, because it's the back of the purse, I've drawn around that with just a normal pen, and then just moved it over, drew it there and drew it there.
Perfect. What
and
a
same
clever way
that
of
way
doing
round.
it. And then how would you cut that then?
Right, so I was going to cut it with a knife.
Please
and
do.
I thought, no, I'm not, because it's curves. If it's straight, what I did for the straight edges, I actually used a metal ruler, and then one of the knives that we've got here, we've got quite a few different knives.
So that's the 18mm, the big one.
Yeah, there's quite a few knives. Please be careful, because this is going to be an actual...
This is the 18mm high duty Fiskars.
And then there's a finer one, and that's how I cut the edge of the leather. Just be very, very careful when you're using this.
So you're using a smaller one now. Is that the...
Yeah.
Which one is that? The safety retractable?
That's that
it's
one
the 9mm.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So if you're doing a big project, use the big knife.
SPZW46.
So if you're using a large piece, I tended to use the large knife. When I was using the small, I used the small knife. They have got the blades that you can...
Retract accordingly.
Yeah, and once they're blunt, you can
Just
break that off.
snap it off.
Yes, so and they do retract, so they're nice and safe. Just when you are doing something like this, obviously retract them so that they're nice and safe. I was thinking, oh, I'll have a go at going around the curve, and I thought, no, do you know what? I'll just have a go with scissors and see how easy it was with scissors. These are my paper scissors, and all I did was just cut around, try and do it in a smooth movement, and you'll be able to come back and trim it off afterwards if you need to. Try and keep your blade so that it's cutting in, not like that or like that, but so it's cutting down into the leather and giving it a nice straight edge. But see how easy it is to cut. I'm not using a lot of pressure. No, not at all. So I'm just going to come around here. And so from not being able to enlarge on the photocopier, by just measuring and cutting, I was able to follow the pattern, which was really nice. And you'll see as well on this one that there's a bit of decoration by punching the hole there. So that's all you do, is you just go all the way around there, cut all the way back, and hopefully that's a beautiful...
It looks good.
Yeah. Okay, if you need to, you can just go in and trim off some of the little bits and pieces. So you take a bit of time with that. The next stage is actually measuring up 9 centimetres and then 9 centimetres and making a little mark. So that's what I did here. Like that. Okay, and then you want to have a little strip, and this is going to be just slightly wider than your actual purse. So what we're going to do first of all is just machine all the way around, just to make it sort of more decorative. So I'm going to do that.
Of course.
Got so much.
And the great thing with this is because you've got the embossing potentials, you could easily pop holes in that.
Yes.
And then do your daisy stitch on that as well,
Yes, and you could actually put holes there, and you can, you know, decorate that. So, you know, there's lots of different ways of doing it. I didn't have any red thread, so I've actually done it with grey, but I thought the grey would stand out. Yes, yes. The other thing that is really good with the leather is enlarge your stitch length. So make it up to about a 5 is good, because it's like top stitching. So it's sort of making it a feature of the stitching rather than just joining it. If you were joining it together and it wasn't showing, then you'd have a shorter length of stitch. But because you're actually going to show this, you want it to sort of look like top stitching. So we're just machining round. Now this, I haven't got, sorry, I'll get rid of that. I haven't got a different foot on or anything. Some some sewing machines come with a Teflon foot, and you can use a Teflon foot. And I think you said that there was a lady yesterday using the faux leather.
She was using her Teflon foot then.
Yeah.
So all you're doing now is you're popping your needle down as you rotate the corner.
Yeah, so I'm just popping my needle down to rotate the corner. But you can actually put some tape underneath your normal foot. But you can see this works really well. So there's no need to have a Teflon foot, But practice, have a go with your machine and see, you know, how it works. It's very satisfying. Come down here. I'm just going to go back one stitch to the corner, get rid of those. And I would actually just overlap by a couple of stitches. Rather than going your locking stitch where you're going backwards and forwards, I'd actually just overlap slightly.
Well, I can give you a tip on that,
Ooh,
which I
lovely.
got from Alison yesterday.
Yes.
Is that what you do is just before your last stitch,
Yes.
pull the fabric, the leather out, leaving a long strand.
Right.
Pull that out, get a needle, and then tack it through the last stitch and tie it up. I have no proprietary anything to that. Alison showed me yesterday, and it was so clever.
Yeah, you can
She's
do
so
that.
good, though.
Yes.
Have you seen Alison's demos before?
No, I
She's
wanted.
so
Oh my
good.
gosh, I wanted to see that because
She
it was a dog.
Well, it's on YouTube.
Yes, I will
In case you
do.
hadn't noticed, catch up all our demos on YouTube going back to Valentine's Day.
So that would make a neater finish if we did just do as Alison sort of said. But then you can see there how we've got that going round.
Can you bring it a little bit towards me? Perfect, thank you.
Okay.
A little bit more. There we go. We're getting cats chasing you around the seat.
Sorry, cats. Okay, so that's neatening the actual part of the purse there. We've already marked, so what we're going to do is go up to that, and you can fold. I'm just going to check. What we can do as well is you can do a top stitch, and you can do a top stitch from where the second one goes, and you can go all the way round here. Okay, sorry, like that.
Perfect.
Okay.
So it's exactly what you've done on the little piece, the the flap.
Yes.
Just doing it all the way around.
I'm just aware that we might run out of time, so I didn't want to. So what we will do next is we'll place that, and you've got it slightly larger, but you want it slightly larger.
Otherwise you couldn't get your flap through that.
And you then machine down there and down there. So I'm just going to pop that up to match the edge. This is where Wonder Clips from last time. Wonder Clips are lovely with leather because you don't want to put pins in at all.
Nope.
Okay, and then as I say, just the other side there. We'll just go up and down.
You have a ripple on this side of the leather on the underside. I don't know if that's on both sides.
Yeah, let's just move that as well. Okay. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. And again, what you can do is use leave a long end, and then you can neaten that off. Yes. Still got the nice long stitch length. If it doesn't start, like with very thick quilting, it doesn't start, just lift your foot up slightly and move your leather so that it's caught underneath, because sometimes it doesn't take the fabric. And you can hear how it's going through the actual leather. Move the clip there.
So you're going through what, 3 thick layers of leather there?
Yes, and it's going through fine. I will just do a couple of reverse stitches, so that's just another alternative. So we've got that side done, so we're going to do the other side. Doing it from the top. Just a couple of stitches back. And then all the way down to the bottom, and I'm going to leave a long end, and you can actually pull that through. This side's actually better than the other side. I'm looking at it now, and I should have.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. So this is one of the very, very quick projects, and you neaten all your thread ends and everything, and then you just pull that through.
That is really clever.
Really, really simple.
Kat is saying, thank you so much, my lovely purse case. She's very happy with it.
Okay, so that's just really, really nice.
That's
so
lovely.
that's one of them. Then what
Should we do that
can
little
do?
bag? Because I'm
Yes,
so intrigued how
yes.
that goes.
Oh, this is just so simple. Here we go. Here we go.
So all you've done is you've cut it out the circle
Yeah.
sizes it tells you.
It's a lemon shape. Let's find it.
I'll find that. You carry
Yeah,
on with
I've got
that.
it
Oh, you got
here.
it? Oh, of course
Yeah.
you do.
So here's the shape, and in fact this one was photocopied 200%, so it was double size. If you wanted to, you could make it 300%, you can make it 400%, especially if you've got access to an A3 photocopier. You can actually make a large bag, and I was just thought, oh my gosh. I mean, I was thinking, oh, you can put coins in it, you know, as a coin purse. But if you had a bigger one, you could put all your
Wonder
clips in it, lots
Don't worry,
and lots of
Sylvia's already
different
got
things.
them in a box.
So you start off with your lemon shape, and then you make your holes going all the way round.
I had to put the tool away. I couldn't
That's-
carry on. It was so
Well, you're getting
addictive.
carried-
I did.
getting carried
It's
away.
really addictive.
They are suggesting, let's just have a look, I think it was 20 holes. About a quarter of an inch. Yeah, 20 dots, about a quarter of an inch from the edge. What you want is maybe 2 there, and then try and space the rest out.
See, the accountant in me would put 2 there and then fold it in half, and then fold that half in half, and then fold that half in half.
Yep.
It's just one of those annoying little things that I would have to do.
No,
to keep
that's
the
fine, that's
uniformity of
fine. And again, you can have it either way. And I fancied this one actually being the suede
Suede,
side.
I agree.
So
Got my vote.
the other thing is, you know, you may not have access to leather cord. This was just cut from a piece of that.
Perfect.
And it really is very strong.
Of course.
Stronger than I actually thought.
So that's
I
roughly
thought,
what, a quarter of an inch?
it's it's between
a quarter and
between
an
a quarter and an eighth. But you can make it thicker, you can make it finer. I wanted it so it would go through the actual holes on there. So then you'll start, and because we want it to be drawn up like that, we want the end coming out that way.
Of course.
So you start by passing it, no needle, nothing's required. Pass it all the way around there. So you're just lacing
the other
it.
end first?
Not, you can if you want to. I didn't, and I didn't find that I didn't find it pulled through. It's quite long. I'm just going to check the length of 20 inches, 2 20-inch lengths. So as long as you've got 2 20-inch lengths, it should go round this particular size. And so you go all the way round like that until you get to the beginning. And then, I don't know whether we'll have time for me to do this. Let's pull it through.
No, we've got time. You carry on.
Okay. Did want to go through that as well, if we can. So pull it all the way through. Okay, just leave the little end there. And as you say, you could tie a knot at this stage if you wanted to. So you're going to just carry on. If you have a problem getting the leather through the hole, an awl, a tailor's, is it called an awl? Tailor's awl?
A what?
AWL. That one.
Oh, the one closest to
Yeah.
you. Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
I can safely say I have never done any of this. So when you said that, I was like, huh?
It's very good for passing,
Pushing everything through the hole.
pushing it through. So, and also, if you don't need a big hole, that is very good for making fine holes in the leather.
Perfect.
The only thing that I would say is maybe have a bit of wadding or something underneath it
to protect.
To protect your cutting mat. You don't want great big holes in there.
Definitely not. So I don't know how long this will take you to do, but I can probably give you another 2 minutes to do that. I don't know how long you need for that.
This one, I wouldn't mind just going through that. So you carry on that.
So that's almost done. You just then pull those strands. Are you putting 2 strands through it?
Yeah, and then you do it the other end, and you just follow where you've gone. So you've got like a double.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah. So when you pull it up, I'll just undo this one. In fact, there could be, well, no, the knots are on the outside, so that's why it's leather on the outside.
Yep.
Yeah. So it just means that you can pull it up like that.
But that's great. It's such a nice little feature with that as well.
Really, really nice. And I just thought, oh gosh, what can I put in there?
That's brilliant.
If you want to give it as a present for somebody, it's really, really nice to do that.
So tell me about this one then.
Yes. So this is the jewellery. Or little, again, you can put lots of little things. I've got so many little things in my sewing room. They've used it as jewellery, but I would put buttons in there or poppers in there or lots of different things. And basically it is a square like this. And there are holes to be punched there. And also you cut into the leather, into the corners. And if you have a look at the template here, this is your cutting line, and these are your holes.
Perfect.
But again, you can make
the great thing is the book shows you all of that.
Yeah.
So you're doing that onto 2 pieces?
Onto 1 piece.
Yes.
Okay, and then you have some cotton fabric with bond web.
Yep.
And once you've done this bit, you then take the back of the bond web off.
That was very satisfying.
And I would actually put a piece of fabric. I haven't got a scrap of fabric here, but I put some fabric underneath so you're not going to stick it on your ironing board. But then you'll iron that on like that, trim it down all the way, and then cut into these sections. And then you can either add rivets.
Yes.
So once you've done that, you'll actually pop that inside and then overlap those.
How brilliant.
And then you can put little poppers if you wanted, so you can actually store them. You could have a whole stack of them and just put them together.
But these are brilliant, and I'm so pleased that you were able to bring these through to us today. Thank you.
Well,
do you want to talk me through all of these wonderful tools that we've got here? So we've done the revolving punching pliers. They are amazing.
Yeah.
You very briefly touched on the 18mm heavy-duty cutters and the 9mm.
And if you have got access to a metal ruler, I would use that rather than your
plastic one, because you'll just slice
ones.
through
Yeah,
it.
you will just.
So should we start with the? Have you perhaps got a little? Can you just cut through some fabric for us and show us how we're doing?
Yeah. So just, and again.
So you're going to use the 18-inch now, the 18mm one.
Yeah, I can do. This one's been used, so I don't know how sharp it is. The other thing is, this is quite high. You really need to be on top. So I will just, and press down. So have your hands on the ruler, pressing down, and you're going to draw it towards you.
Just making sure you're nice and safe with everything.
Yeah. And then just take your time.
Because this is totally different to rotary cutting.
Yes,
you
I
would
know.
never cut towards yourself. You're always cutting away.
And make sure, you can move
just
out the way.
Just be safe with it all.
Yeah.
But I think everybody's very sensible. They know what they're doing. It's a nice soft grip handle as well.
Yes, it's lovely. As I say, my grip's not brilliant, but I can at least do that.
So you say you prefer the 18mm when you're cutting larger sections of the...
Yes, but then I would use this one.
Sorry, would you use the 18mm for a larger piece of
Yes,
fabric,
yeah.
whereas the 9mm you'd use for a smaller piece?
Yeah,
so
I
you
think
would
you've
do
got
that
more
perhaps for
control.
so you do it for perhaps the shorter edge
Yeah.
on the side there. Is
Yeah.
that what you would do?
Yeah, you can do that. You've got more control. Maybe you're doing a square or something and you don't want to get carried away if you've got the
course.
large one. So then you'll press that down.
Now, when you were showing that earlier, you said that as you dull a piece off, you can just snap
Yes.
the edge off because you're going to do that.
Yes.
We've also got these replacement
Yes.
cutter blades as well. So you've got those for the 18mm. So these are quite easy to use. How many blades are we getting in here? 10. 10 blades in there for $2.99. So goodness, for 29p for a blade, you can't go wrong. And that's a lot cheaper than rotary cutter blades. So
And
that's
also,
really good.
you know, if you do paper craft or things like that, so this is really good for paper craft.
Oh, really? For paper craft as well?
Yes, because you can change the blade quite frequently. You know, I don't like using my rotary cutter for anything other than fabric.
Of course.
So, you know, this is good. These knives are really good if you do a lot of paper craft as well.
That's brilliant. So we've got the 18mm cutter as well as the blade replacements.
Yes.
And then we've got the 9mm ones as well. So we've got the 9mm cutter and the blades. And you say they're really easy to change as well.
Yes, yes.
And then the 9mm blades, so this is the cutter for $7.99. We've got the 9mm cutter there for $7.99. And then if you did need to get some of the blade replacements with it as well, you're getting 10 of these blade replacements, 9mm, for £1.99. And it's such a great price. I would definitely be getting a whole load of those.
Oh gosh, you know,
Because there's nothing worse, like rotary cutter blades, when you desperately need a new blade and you realise you've run out. And it's such a great price to be able to get those.
I was getting a bit carried away with all of them, sort of thinking, oh yeah, I can use that for that and use that for that. Right, I don't know what else you've got. I'm not sure if they're listing everything
So
on
we're going to do the hand
website.
sewing?
Yep,
Yes, so everything will be on the website. That's
Yeah.
all on there. So
Yeah.
because I've just never used them, and you're definitely the expert on these. So talk me through these hand needles.
Well, what you can do is use the tailor's awl, I hope that's how you say it, to actually put some holes within. Let me just see if I've got mine. Yeah, I have. Let's just show you. So, if you want to stitch something and don't want to stitch it on the machine,
yes, you'd use the awl
you can
first.
use the awl and make holes within your leather, fine holes, which will be for the needles. You can put it onto a cutting mat, take some of your quilting
leftover
wadding,
waddings, yes.
and then just make the holes in there. You won't be able to see this very clearly, but there is a hole
Right.
actually in there.
We're on our way.
I'll stay in this position.
Don't move a muscle.
I'm not going to move a muscle. Here we go. Do you want me to move it over? There we go.
Perfect.
If
So there you go. You
can-
can see that little hole there
Yeah.
as well. So
So
this
you-
is the tailor's awl.
Yeah.
$2.99 then for that.
So that's what you would do to make your holes to stitch. And you make a few of those maybe in a line. Then you take your leather needles and you can either use waxed thread or
Right.
button thread or just a thicker thread, and you'd stitch it. And in fact, if you had 2 needles threaded, you'd actually pass your needle through. There's a different stitch, it's called a saddle stitch, and you pass your needle through one side, needle the other. So you've actually got 2 threads that are going in and out like that.
So it's effectively, it's your own manual sewing machine.
It is, yes. So, you know, that's how you make the actual stitches. If we'd had more time, I would have been able to explain it a little bit more. But that's where you're using your hand needles for your leather.
Perfect. So the hand needles today are £1.49. You're getting 5 different needles from all the different sizes, going from 3 up to number 7. The tailor's awl was what you used to make the holes
Yes.
with there. What would you like next? The which one? Safety cutter. So that's this one here. Have you used this one?
I haven't used that one, no.
So this
I don't want to
is-
open all of
No,
them.
no. It's not that. It's the. Unfortunately, I've touched it now, so you can't.
No.
So this is ideal for paper cutting, for craft, thin cardboard, film, leather, but it looks as though, compared to this one, it's curved on the edge. So I wonder if there's a... I'm not sure. I'm going to open it. Oh, right. Okay, so you're actually physically holding it out.
You're holding it,
to
okay.
cut. Sorry, I would never have figured that out from inside the box. So with the, if you could open your, let's say your 18mm blade, if you can pull that out and hold that open for me.
You can hear it click. So that's...
So that automatically holds into position. Whereas this one, you're actually holding it out, and you then, if you let go, it's going to ricochet back. So the safety feature on that is to be able to then, your blade's never left out.
Yes.
So I would be buying this one because I'm terrified of always leaving the blade open. So this is the safety retractable blade. This is $4.99 there. It's an 18mm edge for that. But we also have the blades for this one as well. Because these are obviously very different to the blades on the other one. You're getting 10 of these in the pack. They're also £2.99 for the 10 blades. Come in a lovely little safety container there as well. And then these work with the safety retractable cutter that if you hold it out and then let go, it's all kept away. So the blades are what we've got here for $2.99, and the cutter itself is $4.99 there. Then last but not least, we've got these rivet makers. Press fasteners and eyelets and piercers. Now this looks amazing, but I've never used one of these. How does this work?
I've only just started using this, but I really want to carry on.
Perfect.
I really want to sort of do lots more.
We encourage such behaviour.
So these are for the eyelets. So say you want to make a large bag and you want to have eyelets, and then you want to put something through, it could be a chain or something like that. Then you've got these eyelets, and this helps you attach the eyelets to the fabric or to the leather. This particular one, which I think you've got here, there is a tool within here which helps, but it does state that you do need, I have got a hammer somewhere, you do need a hammer.
Or what we'd call friendly persuasion.
Yes, friendly.
Which is absolutely great.
Yeah.
So these are now available at $4.99 for a pack of 40 of those. And we've also got then the pliers and the piercing retractors for these. And that one is $7.99. Is that right?
That's good.
Just checking the back. Nope, different code. VEUX61.
And
so these are $12.99, these ones, that we're using then to put those together there, which you've got in your hand there.
Yes. And the other thing is that there is a metal clip. If you squeeze the handles together...
Oh, the clip comes
take the clip
loose.
out, then that expands the space between the two. Then you've got the two metal ones, and you've got slightly different size there, if you can see.
Yes.
Okay. The other thing that I wasn't sure what this was, so I am going to show you if there's time. So once you've actually got your metal in there and you've either attached your fasteners or whatever you need to attach, I thought, how am I going to get that out? And this handy contraption
then gets the leather out of there. Oh, that's brilliant.
No, it gets that metal bit out. So you hook it under there and you push it. And can you see? So if I push that back, that just enables you to get rid of that and change it.
What a clever thing to do.
Yep.
Now then, the very last bits and bobs that we've got, other than the beautiful book that we've been going through, $9.99 for the book today. We've got our mixed bag, 2 kilograms of multi-leather here. That one is $34.99 today. You've got loads of different colours, really fabulous quality, really, really soft multicoloured leather there. But if you wanted to get a standard black leather bag, we've got that as well. 2 kilos of that for $34.99. We are now about to go and redo our set. We'll be back in a minute or two. Oh, I'm so sorry. I've jumped the gun there. Cara, thank you so much for coming through today. It's been really lovely having you.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been lovely to see everybody. Stay safe.
You keep well, everyone.
Hello, my name is Sally Stevens. I'm from Worcestershire, a little town called Upton upon Severn, which is a lovely little riverside town. And not far from there, I also have a little sewing studio, so I can work and leave all my mess left out when I'm preparing projects and quilts and so on. My speciality is, in fact, quilting, patchwork and quilting, and I probably started that when I was about 14 years ago. So as I often joke, that was only 7 years ago. In fact, it was rather a lot longer. But I've always enjoyed crafting, and patchwork really hooked me, and I love it. So now then, what can I tell you? Something you may not realise about me is that although lots of you have seen me many, many times on Sewing TV and classes, because I teach as well, I also do a lot of unpicking. So don't be afraid ever. If you have to unpick things, so do we. It's not a problem. We all have to start somewhere. And sometimes you get a bit cocky and think, oh, I can just do that without pinning or without this. And then you think, should have paid attention to my own words. So some sewing tips for you. That's one, keep a seam ripper handy. That will always be your friend. And another one that I think is very important, whether you're a beginner or more experienced, when you're sewing something, particularly for the first time, a new technique, slow down. There's no rush, it's not a race. Have a little practice with spare fabrics if you've got them before you use your best fabric that you've just purchased so that you get your techniques just right. But also slow down, take your time, watch what you're doing, think about what you're doing, and read the instructions. That's always very useful. So what can I say? I've been asked to say what my claim to fame might be, and I would have to say, in all honesty, being on Sewing Street.
Hello and welcome. We love hearing from you, and we really hope that you can follow us on our social media platforms. We've got Instagram, which is @SewingStreet. We have Facebook. We've got 2 Facebook pages. One is the Sewing Street TV page, and the other one is Sewing Street Fans. All 3 of these are monitored all the time by our wonderful team, and if you want to message us on air, drop us a line on either of those 3 and we'll definitely be able to answer your questions that you may have. If you post on the actual wall, we can perhaps answer there. Otherwise, message us as well. That works really, really well. Thank you so much for being involved, and it's only because of this community that we're able to bring you all these different diverse products and to be able to answer your questions that you may have. Another way you can stay in touch with us is by signing up to our newsletter. These newsletters are sent out to you very regularly, and they include not only our guest profiles of upcoming guests, but also amazing shows that we've got coming up for you. And if you want to look at the amazing products before everybody else, that's the best way to do it. If you'd like to sign up and you haven't already, the link to follow is www.sewingstreet.com/sign up. You won't regret it. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Debbie Shaw from Sewing Street, and these are my 5 top tips for successful sewing. So, number 1, always use a good quality thread. A good quality thread will keep your seams stronger and also help to prevent lint building up inside your sewing machine. Tip number 2, if your project isn't going quite according to plan, put it down, walk away from it, come back again the next day and you'll probably find that things don't seem half as bad as they did. My tip number 3, never throw away your sewing machine manual, always keep it to hand because you're going to find hints and tips, techniques and troubleshooting in that manual. You'll miss it if you lose it. My tip number 4 is to read your pattern instructions before you even cut out your fabric. Different manufacturers of patterns will give you different instructions, different ways of constructing your garments and different seam allowances. So to have a successful garment, you need to follow the instructions precisely. And then tip number 5 is don't give up. Every professional sewer sewed their first seam. Every professional quilter quilted their first quilt. Every professional quilter sewed their first line of wonky stitches and had to get out the quick unpick. That's no different to you. So I hope you find these useful. If you want more hints and tips, then why not go to Sewing Street on channel 74 on Freeview, on Sky 670, and of course we have a YouTube channel where you can catch up on previous demonstrations. We'll see you soon.
Would you like to take part in our weekly competition? If you do, then all you have to do is head to the Sewing Street fan page group on Facebook. Post your picture of your make. Myself, Debbie Shaw and John Cole Morgan love looking at all of your makes every week. We pick our favourite and announce the winner every Friday live on the show. Happy sewing and good luck.
Hi there, I'm Debbie Shaw, and I would love for you to join me for my birthday celebrations on Monday the 6th of July. We're going to be live for 5 hours, all the way from 8 o'clock in the morning through to 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We're going to have special deals for you. They've got lots of special offers. I'm going to be signing photographs to everybody that places an order, and there's going to be demonstrations from both myself and from Delphine Brooks as well. So hopefully you can join me on Monday the 6th at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'll see you then.
Hello, I'm John Cole Morgan, and I'm so happy to have you here for our last hour of today's show. And we have got so much to show you. I am really, really excited to be able to bring all these different bits to you. First of all is this wonderful, wonderful pair of electric scissors. Oh my goodness. So the first thing that you're going to get is you're going to have your plug. And I know this sounds really silly, but my cable was not long enough to do it there, and I can't hold it and do that together. So the first thing you're going to have is you've got this wonderful little charging device to be able to charge your battery. You pop that in there, and you can see that that gives you all the light on how you're doing. You can see it's flashing red and green. Once I've got that all charged, the battery put in, it's got that red light solid over there. So that then gets you charging up. Then you've got your wonderful mechanism that you're actually doing, which is the actual handle of your scissors. And your battery is going to go into this side over there. And then you've got your two blades, which are going to go in the top here. The B is for blunt, and the A is for sharp. Very cleverly done there. So I'm going to be using our B blade because that's blunt. I don't know why anybody would want to use a blunt blade versus a sharp blade. I want to be able to have all this information, but unfortunately, I don't know. One thing I will say, though, is that there are screws that you are going to have to attach onto the side of this when you do put your blade in. You don't have to, but I personally, any form of electrical item which has a blade that could potentially come off, I'm always going to put the screws in to make sure that it's safe, and I recommend that other people do the same. We just want everybody to be nice and safe through the whole process because we want you to be fun. And it's really, really easy to do. You can just see you're literally popping the screw in, you're rotating your screwdriver, and the screwdriver comes included in the kit, so you don't have to worry, am I needing a Phillips or a flathead screwdriver? How am I going to make this work? It doesn't matter. So there you go. I'm giving those a nice little tighten there. Got a nice little bag. I'm not going to lose my little bag because I know I've got to put my screws on those in a minute. Now, if you don't want to use these as, if you don't want to use this as a battery operated one, you have got the ability to be able to use this as an electrical item that you plop that in there. So this is the same shape as what your battery would be. You pop that in there. And then you've got the cable that you can then put this directly into the mains. You're got this special adapter that you just push through to that, and then you rotate, I think the screw, there we go. And you've got this little metal round bit there that you then just tighten the screw on, and then that keeps your electrical cable nice and tight. And once this is plugged in, you can then use it on the mains. So when you have got your item arriving, you're going to have one of these universal plugs. Anybody who travels abroad knows you get these different plugs for different things, and you can attach different shaped plugs into the edge of that to be able to make it work. So I'll show you this now, how it works on the mains. Got that there. You ready? It's ready to go. Oh, I feel like I'm so sorry. I'm going to sneeze. So you think, no, I can't hold it, and then you do. Sorry. Sorry about that. I thought I was about to sneeze, and I'm not. Apologies for that. So now you're going to then literally just cut through the fabric. Now this is leather, And look how easy it went through that leather. Now, I love toys like this. I love them because they are so much fun to use. But that's in the mains, okay? So this is now completely charged to the mains, ready to go. I don't want to put it on a plug. I want it to be on the battery. So what I'm going to do is I'm now disconnecting my cable. I'm taking, oh, wrong one. Disconnecting that. So we keep that in its little box. You take my nice strong cable when I'm using the mains out. This is now my battery charger, which I showed you at the beginning. I'm going to pull my battery out. I'm going to put my little adapter back in its box. I'm going to put that on the floor and step over it. Screwdriver back in the box. My A-sharp blade. Now remember, I'm using a blunt blade over here. I'm taking my battery. It's in. Now I'm completely cordless. There are no wires. It's all on its own. But what I love about this is, so I'm going to cut off a piece. Now this is pure leather. This is what we had in the last hour. 2 kilos of leather, $34.99. It's amazing stuff. Go and get some. So I'm going to put this on. Tell me when you're ready. Oh, I'm going in the wrong place now. So all I'm doing, I'm keeping... I absolutely love this. So I don't need such a big piece of leather, so I've just cut a piece off. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it in half. Okay. Fold it in half. So now you can see I'm keeping the bottom of my blade on the counter. Now I'm cutting, that was 2 layers of leather. Look how thick that is. Now I'm going to try this with 4. I'm not sure it's going to work. I know it worked with 8 layers of PU. So this is now 4 layers of leather. So you can see I'm not lying. Got 2, folding in half. Now I'm going to put 6 layers. 6 layers. Oh, I love this tool. I love it. Now, Neil did this trick where he put his finger in the middle of that, and apparently it doesn't do it. I'm sorry, I'm not that brave. If it cuts my finger off, I'm not prepared to. 6 layers. Should we do 8? Right, I'm running out of space here, so I'm going to do it there. That's 4. That's 8. I think 8 is probably pushing it, but when is the last time you've ever cut through that much fabric? Really? I don't think it's necessary, but we're going to give it a go. Oh, that's only because I can't get the angle. Bear with. 8 layers of leather. Look at that, and you can see it's clear. Now, when you cut these, you can see you've got nice sharp edges with that as well. It's not as if it's just grabbing it and tugging it and tearing it. It's not. You're getting really, really good precision cuts. But now what is really good with this is, I know we're using this on fabric. Now, we've just done an hour on leather work, on being able to cut bits and bobs out to do that. And you saw you had those curves on to be able to make a little cushion, a little purse. So with these, can you now, if you want to free... Now, it would take some practice. Now, I know that's not a very neat cut, but with practice, you can see how you can free motion all the way through this. So I've just tried to cut along that line, and just going straight down here, you can easily mark your leather out, cut it away. And if you just needed to, say you wanted to cut these into little pieces, all you do is you can see it just slides through absolutely effortlessly. Now, I didn't want to show Cara this because I was a bit worried she'd get a little enthusiastic with that. But look how easy this cutter goes through the leather. Now, if you wanted to go and create a little attachment here, sorry, I'm getting very excited by this. You can then go and applique that onto one of the cushions that you've made, or one of the bags that you've made. And then if you've got a smaller piece, oh. Oh, sorry, I'm not doing this very well. I'm trying to create a little shape like that, almost there. So it's almost, you can create a little diamond and you can build little shapes onto it. And then you can poke holes in that and sew them onto your purse if you need. But the fabric, you can see that it's got really clean edges when you've cut it. And you can get through 8 layers of leather on this. Absolutely brilliant. Neil did a really great demo with us a couple of weeks ago. It is a considered purchase, there's no question. But if nothing else, how much fun was that? They are really, it's a fabulous pair of scissors, really, really, really safe. And the thing is as well, when you're doing something like this, you want to make sure that it's safe, and this really, really is. It's fabulous. Now, as well as, I'm thinking here, I'm just looking, you can, I'm just checking what you can cut through, but it's got pictures of it. Is that foam? Oh, it's cutting through sponge, leather, carpets. You can cut through rubber. Which fibre? Glass fibre. My goodness, you can cut through virtually anything with these. They're really a fabulous pair of scissors. So the blunt blade, which is the one I've been using, is used for harder and thicker fabrics and materials, where the sharp blade is for softer and thinner materials. Now, it's really easy to change the blades out. So I'm just going to change this here. Oh. And the great thing is, it's a really good screwdriver, because sometimes when you get a free screwdriver with something, it's a bit like, oh, that's going to fall apart on my first use. This is a really good screwdriver, this. So I've taken the screws out, I take the blade off, I release that little red latch there, pull that out, and when I want to put the sharp in, now last time I was trying to put it on like that, but it's not. You'll see that there's a little ridge over here. You can see there's that ridge. That ridge goes on here like that. And then again, all you do is you attach your screws on the side, just for safety. You don't need to, because you've got that latch there, but for myself, I just like to make sure that I'm doing things really safely. And you said the A blade was for? The sharp blade. So that's for thinner fabrics and thinner materials. And again, so there, you're ready to go. Exactly the same thing. Do you think it'll go through the leather as well? Oh, that works so well. Oh, it's got such a great feel on that. Love, love, love these. Now, I know it is a considered purchase, but they are fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. So those are $169.99. Don't forget, we've got a one-day P&P all day. Doesn't matter whether you're buying that or anything. All of it's $3.95 throughout the day. Doesn't mean, just checking. It's very warm there, which means the iron was on. We are going to start off with our wonderful Necessities Aurifil. So with this, you're getting 4 different threads. What? Oh, sorry. Talk back. Sorry. So we've got 4 different colours here. We've got the, is that biscuit or cream? I always get it confused. So the numbers, I know with Aurifil most people usually use the numbers. That one is number 2000, and then you've got the grey, which is 2600. You've got the white, which is 2021, and then you've got the black, which is 2692. But what I love about Aurifil thread is several things. First of all, the quality. Aurifil, it'll come to you in this wonderful presentation box. The quality of Aurifil thread, you're not getting the lint, you're not getting the cheaper thread, and I will admit I use a much cheaper thread than this. I don't get as great a finish as you do with the Aurifil. The lint that comes off my thread is really, it does bung up my machine. I'm having to clean my machine a lot more. And if nothing else, look at the shine on it. Just look at that grey. You can see the shine on that grey, and on all of them you can just see. Unfortunately, the black you can't, but there is that beautiful sheen. So it doesn't matter if you're doing a single strand or you're doing really dense quilting or you're doing embroidery. You've always got that beautiful, beautiful sheen on all of the stitching that you're going to do. It's absolutely brilliant. You can do this for embroidery. If you are doing dense quilting, this is really, really good to do as well. You are getting, how many meters was this? 1,300 meters on each one of these spools. They are 50 weight, so it's a really good weight. Really strong thread as well, so you can see that it's got a nice, good strength to it. It's a really fabulous thread to use and work with. It's absolutely brilliant, and I've just realized I've now started unrolling this. There we go, there we go. But it's got a lovely feel to it as well. It's just got that beautiful, beautiful sheen. It's just a fabulous, fabulous thread. And yes, it's slightly more expensive, but it's obviously phenomenal, phenomenal quality. And with that quality comes a price, but it is so good. And it will extend the life of your machine because you haven't got the lint coming off it as well. And you've got 1,300 meters on each one of these spools. You've got 4 spools there. So what's that, 5,200 meters in this kit. Somebody's just multiplying that now. Absolutely fabulous, and the colours perfect for any form of sewing that you're doing. These are the 4 main colours that you would be needing for any project that you're working on. I usually use a grey because I think that blends perfectly with every colour that you do, and most of my quilting's done in grey as well, so it's a beautiful, beautiful collection. £35.99 for all of those, all made in Italy by Orifel in Milan. Absolutely stunning, really lovely. And then, if the thread isn't for you at the moment, I am going to go and catch up on this beautiful book. We didn't have time in the last hour because Cara was so great with her demos. We just ran a little bit over there, but we didn't get time to touch on this bag. This book is absolutely stunning. It's called Leather Bags. You've got 14 different bags to go through and to do. The price of the book is $14.99. And let's start doing and having a look at the different bags that you've got available. Giving you a little bit of a sneak peek on there, I think. So this is great. I love this because I've never done leather work before and I've never made bags before. And I read all of this and I can see it's giving me the different types of presser feet that I can use, the zipper foot, giving you the tips. If you don't want to buy any special feet, there are a few methods that you can use. Turn to page 24. Oh, I love the fact it's showing you the size of the stitch that you should do and what the different threads look like as well. I love that because I don't know anything about it. So when I'm top stitching, if I want to have a bigger, you'd use 6 stitches per inch, 4 millimeters. You'd use 80 weight thread. That's what it would look like. I love that. Oh, and this tells you the different types of leather that you're using as well. And then this will tell you what the fabric is that you can use either on the inside as a lining or contrast, and then the hardware. This is telling you how to cut it with all the different tools available. And then this shows you some of the bits that we were using today as well. Got all your zips available here as well. But the great thing is before you've even started making anything, before you even started making anything, you've got all the tips and techniques on how to do it. And look at that beautiful bucket bag. I love that. And the great thing is it shows you how to join piping as well. It's a really nice little tip because I've never done piped edging before, but it shows you how to put that together and then put that piece of fabric over to hide where your join is. That's very clever. And then when you've got it there, you can see that's what your finish looks like. Really clever tip. And then when you're sewing leather by hand, this is giving you the way of doing it by hand as well and finishing that off with a bias tape. My goodness, we're on page 45 and we've still not started doing a project yet. Oh, and so if by magic, there we go. This gives you the first of the projects, this tote. And the pictures, I love the fact you've got different pictures to do to show you each and every step along the way. I love these different bags. They've got so many different things here. And I love the use of different fabrics together. You've got that which looks like a jersey with this leather. It looks brilliant. I'm not quite sure I'd be brave enough to do that, but they do make it look really easy. Oh, and it looks like you're burning something here. To keep the cord ends from fraying with regular use, you can dip the ends in melted wax. What a clever idea. Oh, wow, look at that. Oh, I love this knapsack. Oh, and you get to use all your riveting machines as well. How brilliant. Oh, these look great. So this book is $14.99. You've got 14 different projects and bags that you can make in it. Oh, wow, you're getting two there, the envelope clutch and the Melky wallet. Now the leather we had in the last hour, we had 2 kilos of black leather for $34.99 and 2 kilos of multicolored leather as well for $34.99. What's great is when you look at different projects like this, those different size pieces of leather would be perfect for projects like this. They're really great. These are really adorable, really, and looks like they're relatively simple to do as well. Love that. Because I think as well, when you're doing a project like this, you want to be able to make something relatively simple that you'll feel comfortable being able to make, and it won't be too hard. Because I think if you do something really, really difficult from the outset, it kind of gives you that, if it goes wrong, you're then devastated and don't want to carry on doing it anymore. Oh, that's a lovely bag as well. What's that one called? The Dan Holm backpack. That's beautiful. Oh my goodness, a little tassel. Oh, they are adorable. One of my, somebody I know has one of those tassels on her wallet, and she's tied bells on the inside of it. So if anybody ever picks her wallet up, it jingles, which I think is a very clever tip. Oh, a luggage tag as well, which is great. What a wonderful thing. Again, something small to be able to do that you don't feel too overwhelmed by the idea of making. And it will build up your confidence to make something like that and then feel a bit more comfortable. Gosh, look at that bag. That is incredible. Oh, that's beautiful. Now that looks really, really expensive there. But what I like from the last book that we had on as well, people have been embossing their leather on the outside. Can you imagine making that and then doing a beautiful embossed on that? Because I'm guessing that is, it's double-sided. You can emboss one side of it, or maybe the underside if you're a bit nervous of it, so that when you open it, the inside is all embossed. That would be beautiful. Oh, look at that. That's lovely. A quilted crossbody bag. That is really good. I'm not sure I would be. I'm not sure I'm brave enough to quilt leather because it's. If you make a mistake, it's there forever. But that looks really beautiful. Very, very effective. And there it gives you options here on how to customize and scaling and changing. If you're going to be dyeing your leather and color. Oh, that's very clever. So there. I'm just going to flick back to that project. This is the finished project there, but what they've done is they've just painted over it to be able to create that beautiful motif on it with something there, because I thought that looked really beautiful as it was, but then they went and painted it as well. That's excellent. Oh my goodness, I love that. Leather hexes there, being able to do something like that. But also what's lovely is these leftover key rings. They're very cute. Oh, and then it shows you how to care for your leather and make it waterproof as well. Oh, Love it. Troubleshooting common problems. Love that. And then we've got all the... This is such a great book. Really, really lovely book there. $14.99 today. Leather Bags by Cassia Earhart. Forgive me if I said your name wrong there. I do apologise. I'm always getting people's names wrong. It's nothing personal. Sorry. $14.99 today. Such a great book, which follows on from our wonderful leather hour we had with Cara and all the wonderful products that we had there as well. So then... Oh... We have got something new to me. It's called a stitch remover. Ooh, this looks a bit like a beard trimmer. What is this? Oh, what do I do with this? Oh my goodness, I'm very excited. It looks like a beard trimmer, but it's not. Comes with a plug. You've got a wonderful little brush here, which you would then be cleaning out when you've got all your threads on it. This is what they do. They give me something totally new that I've never seen before, and then say, there you go, demo that. Ooh, what is that? What is that meant to be?
To clean it. Have you got anything from that you stitched earlier in the show, John? What did you stitch in your first hour? Is it on the desk underneath you?
I'm just looking to see if I've got anything that's pre-stitched, and unfortunately I don't think I do. I think I'm going to have to just say, I haven't done this one before. Has it been demoed before? Debbie did a demo on it recently. I will post on social media later when the demo is. I'm really sorry, but we haven't got anything stitched that I can unstitch. Oh, I like this. I definitely want to look at that. So we have a little, if you do know about it, I'm very sorry if you don't. Just, that was my fault. We haven't prepped everything in to get that done. Sorry about that. What should we do next? This I can do. I love this lamp. It is such a lovely, lovely lamp. And look how bright it is. What I love about this is the size of it is just perfect. You've got this beautiful little lamp. So everybody who's doing any form of work, at the moment, glorious sunshine till about 8, 9 o'clock at night, not a problem. But we're coming up into our winter hours. We've gone past summer solstice. You're going to be doing all your work, sitting at your table. We all need that little bit of extra brightness. I know what I do as well. I've got the wonderful floor lamp that does the same thing as this. But it's great because you can maneuver the head as up and down. Can I do it that way? I've just... Sorry, I feel like I've just shone the light in everybody's eyes on the telly there. Sorry about that. They are really, really lovely, especially if you're doing any form of hand sewing or English paper piecing. I think these are fabulous. It's really easy, push in, push out, which I love because it's, some people have problems turning the switches on and off with your thumbs. This is really easy. If you don't want to use your finger or you can't, just use a pen. And you've got a pen storage facility there. So if you do have problems with it and you do need something to turn it on, you can store it there. Turn it on, leave it, put it back there. You've got a wonderful little bowl there as well, which you can store all your pins and all your bits and bobs on there if you need to. Really, really great little light, and you can see just how bright it is. Now we've got studio lights in here already, but now look how bright that is. It's absolutely great. Lovely, lovely lamp this. And it's got a natural daylight light to it as well. So especially if you're trying to get your colours exactly right, this is a natural daylight on it as well. Really, really lovely that. $12.99. Sorry, $16.99. I can learn to read one day as well. Can I leave this on all show? I feel a bit bright there. Not sure how long it'll last because that's quite bright. That's really bright. I love that. Really great little lamp there. I'm going to put it next to my favourite feature for today, which is my cutting scissors. So we're next going to do our fat quarters. Which ones do you want to do first? Which one? Let's start with our red ones, because Christmas is coming. Now these are just adorable. These are 45 centimetres by 54. They are really lovely, lovely colourways. Just trying to rearrange everything in the right spot there. Just look at all these different designs and you can see, look at that flower. Look at that. Beautiful detailing on it, really, really special. Love that. So you're getting that colourway there. Then you're getting our wonderful little dot there. This is actually quite a good idea for bunting. You can just see you could do all these different projects there for bunting. Then you've got this lovely stripe as well, and it's got a great feel, this stripe. It really is sweet. But this, oh, it's almost got that French linen feel to it as well. Really, really lovely. And the colorways, it's just beautiful. See, for myself, I would just put a double hem on that and use that as a dishcloth. Absolutely love that. And then last but certainly not least, we've got this linen feel fat quarter as well. I'm just reading the back here. And you can see a really lovely, lovely colourway this. That's 5 fat quarters there, $14.99 for 5 fat quarters. Look at that colourway there. Really, really lovely. Next one we've got is is it naturals we're calling it? Naturals. These are also 45 centimetre by 54 centimetre. You've got this one. Now, I know some of these are Hessian, some of them are cotton. So these are a blend. This is 55% Hessian, 45% cotton. This one is as well. So this is just a polka dot all the way through. Then we've got this one, which has got a really, really interesting design on it. I don't speak French, so I don't know what it says, but you can see it's really fun, very, very vibrant, very interesting, different designs. Not quite sure where to look. So this is also 45% Hessian, 55% Hessian, 45% cotton. Can you imagine for kitchenware, covering of your mixers and things like that? That's a really great colourway there. And then talking of covers, this might be a cover for your sewing machine. This is really fun. I'm lost looking in all of these, and you can see this beautiful sewing machine there and all these different cross-stitch effects up there as well. And then these are 100% cotton. 2 beautiful pieces of 100% cotton. Here is a fat quarter. Let me show you the size of each of these fat quarters. They are all the same size. So I can show you how big they all are. There you go. 45 centimetres by 55. Lovely size. These are nice and easy to fold because it's all pre-folded and ready for you. So you're getting these 5 fat quarters, you're getting the 2 100% cottons, you're getting the 3 55% Hessian, 45% cotton combinations there. 2 with a really, really interesting design on the different ways of doing the different designs there. Then you've got our 3rd colourway with our beautiful polka dot on there. And then these gorgeous linens, linen style 100% cotton fabric fat quarters there. 5 of those for $14.99. Now we're going to do some scissors. Which one do you want first? So we've got our wonderful Janome ones here. What am I going to cut up with these? What shall I cut up? These are the OQ. Just checking. Sorry, making sure we got the... Sorry, just making sure we got the right graphic on this. So I'm going to try and cut through leather with these. Oh my goodness, this is like literally a knife through butter. This just slides through it so beautifully. Oh, I can't stop. These are brilliant. These are absolutely brilliant. These are the Janome scissors. I can't stop. These are on now. Remember, this is our leather, but just look. Oh, just effortlessly slicing through them. Absolutely stunning. Love these. Right, so that's our leather. Let's have a look at our wadding. This is my wadding. Yes, this is my wadding. Oh my goodness, look how beautifully it slices through that. Absolutely effortlessly there. Really lovely. So now these just, you can see they're cutting through wadding, they're cutting through leather. Let's get some fabric. So this is the denim that we've got available as well. I'm going to cut that bit there. Cut a little piece off. Oh, wow. You can see they just cut effortlessly through this fabric. Really, really beautiful scissors, these. Really lovely. So this is our 8-ounce weight denim, the medium blue that we had on yesterday. But the great thing is it's just so beautiful, easy to cut with. Really, really fabulous pair of scissors. These are $24.99. Professional, soft and sharp. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce. Oh, side bent. I don't know what was in my brain then for a second. Apologies. So these are what you're going to get, how they'll come to you in this wonderful packaging. Made by Janome, $24.99 today for those 9-inch, 23-centimetre pair of scissors there. Next, we've got a scissors set. These are also by Janome. Now, these tiny little scissors, I had been using them on set for quite a while. They're amazing, and I didn't realise they were part of a set, but these little scissors are absolutely the most perfect size. So you're going to get the 2 pairs of scissors in the set. Is that, do you want to do the overhead? I'll get there eventually. Forgive me. So there we go. You're getting 2 scissors there as a scissors set, and that's for $12.99. Now, having used these repeatedly for quite a while, now my fingers are slightly larger than most people, so getting my thumb into something that doesn't cause immense pain when I press on there is quite hard. So having a nice pair of scissors that are this size is really, really handy to be able to do it. So for snipping your ends, cutting a few threads, this is a really lovely pair of scissors. Then you've got a larger pair here which do something similar to the last pair that we had, and you can then see that it slides through there. It's not quite as effortless as the other one, but it's got as beautiful a cut with it. It's got a nice good sound to it, doesn't it? Really great sound on that. So that's cutting through our 8-ounce denim very comfortably there. And then those are the 2 sets that you're getting for $12.99. And then are we doing the last Janome pair? Laura? This one. Now these ones have got a much wider handle, which I quite like. So these are 9 inches. Sorry, I'm just going to, yes they do. Isn't that weird? Right, so for me, these fit my hand a lot better than the 8.5 do in the last one. Gosh, only $9.99. Am I going to do them this way? I'll get there eventually. Where am I putting? There we go. So these are the 9-inch Janome scissors that we've got here. Really, really lovely. Very, very comfortable in my hands. Again, nice and smooth. Great sound. Are these slightly serrated? Oh, right. So these are not suitable for your scissor sharpeners. Don't put them in there because these are micro serrated side bent dressmaking scissors. Really, really great. And you can see how easy they are to work. Really lovely. And it's got a very, very comfortable handle. Really great. Because I struggle finding something that actually fits my hand really, really comfortably. These are really good. I like those. So those are $9.99. The 9-inch Janome scissors. Did I have it originally? I did, didn't I? Yes, there we go. We're getting there eventually. The 9-inch scissors there from Janome, they're $9.99 today. Now we have 404 and 505. Let's do the 505 first. And because I had the wadding here, I'm going to show you. I am not spraying this in an enclosed studio, don't worry. So the first thing you're going to do is I have to say these ones definitely do cut the best. I like those. You've got your backing, you've got your wadding, you've got your quilt top, and you have a wonderful imagination to imagine that that's going to work. So what I do with my 505 is I always spray onto my wadding. Now wadding, although some of you may know this already, wadding has a front and a back. When you feel wadding, you will feel that one side is completely smooth. In this case, that's the completely smooth side. And when you feel the other side, it's slightly rough, or depending on which one you're using, it's incredibly rough and you've got a nice 3D effect. So the smooth side is your back, whereas the bumpy side is your top, and that just helps add to that 3D effect of your quilting. So the first thing I'm going to do, we're going to use our imagination that I've taken the lid off and I'm spray that onto the wadding for the back side of it. I then have my backing there, and I take my wadding with the glue sprayed onto the wadding and I push that down and I smooth that out, get rid of any bubbles, turn it round, check that that's out there completely. That's now my back attached to my wadding. Then I take the spray again, put that on the front and put my quilt top on it, and then from the middle out I start flattening the quilt out from the middle out, making sure that I get rid of any dimples, any form of ripples, any form of air pockets, and I make sure that that's gone there. Now this spray can hold for a substantial amount of time. I've basted quilts with this before and they've lasted a week or two. The glue is really, really robust, but if you pop it through the washing machine when you're finished, it evaporates and goes completely. It completely washes out. So it's very, very easy to do. When you're spraying it, you're doing it at about 25-30 centimeters distance. Don't do it in an enclosed area. Please be safe when you're doing this. And the great thing is that you don't end up with any after effects of it, and it's really, really, really effective, really great, and they last for ages. I bought 2 of these and I'm still not finished the first one. So it's a long-lasting product that will take you for ages. So the 505 is fabric to fabric. That's what the 505 for is. It's not only for quilting, you can definitely do that for other creative hobbies. You can do this for embroidery. So you would just spray that down and it would glue fabric to fabric. And if you've misplaced it, so say I put this down and you wanted to go, you peel it back up, put it back down, and you smooth it back down. You can easily lift that up and down as you go. And if it isn't sticking anymore, tiny little spray more, that'll sort you out perfectly for that. So that's the 505 spray. Today we've also got the 404 spray, and this one is more for fabric onto card, paper, plastic. I'm just reading on the side here. Gosh, you can do it for plants as well. Tissue paper, stabilizers. So this one isn't quite as strong as the 505. It's not quite as sticky. And I hate using the word sticky because it's not sticky. It just means that it, I don't quite know how to word that. So if you're doing anything for applique or something like that, the 404 is what you would be doing. If you're wanting something just to last a little bit longer and to be there, you'd be using the 505. It is an absolutely, that's what it is, repositional. So you'll be able to reposition once you've glued it, you'll be able to reposition as you go. This one's a little bit more temporary. The 505 is a temporary adhesive, so it will wash away. But this one is, you can replace it and you can put it away and move it along. Can't speak today. Sorry about that. Not used this before either. What's this? No. Nope. Hira? So I've never used one of these before, so now I'm about to learn something live on air. What could possibly go wrong? I have no idea how to use this. Can we do another product? So, we had these on a little while ago. They are amazing. So what you've got is you've got this 3-in-1. Is it 3-in-1 or 4-in-1? I can't remember that way. But you've got this multi-mat. So the first one you're going to do is you've got your ironing board. So you can put all your ironing on there, get that pressed. Really nice and simple to do that. Then you can flip it over. You've got your cutting mat. Really, really fabulous little cutting mat on that. Then we have your design board. So if you're wanting to put different pieces of design. Now this is denim, so it's a little bit heavier than your usual cotton, but as you can tell, it's sticking perfectly there, and you just hold that there, and you can then pop all your different colors and designs on. Can that go a little bit lower? You can put all your different colors and designs on there as you're going, but then not only have you got your little portable design wall, you've also got this wonderful section here that if you're wanting to be able to then draw something onto that, if I'm wanting to use my friction pen, for example, you've got this sort of chalk, sandpapery effect that holds your fabric in place while you do your drawing and get that all on there. And then when you're ready, you take that over and you cut that on and off from there. It's just a really, really useful product to have. It's such a great fabric on the outside of it as well. Really vibrant, very, very bright. And it can fit perfectly in your bag. It's a little bit bigger than a normal size book. So if you look at the book that we had on our 8 o'clock show, you can see it's just a little bit bigger than your book would be. Really, really great that. And these are available today for $14.99. 30 centimeters this way by 24. And the great thing is it's just so easy to use. Really, really simple. The cutting board on the inside is 8 inches by 11, which any form of foundation paper piecing, most of the FPP you'll easily be able to fit on there, and just such a great little product. So if you wanted something slightly bigger, you would use we've got this wonderful sloth one here. This one is slightly bigger, but it's got this wonderful carry bag with it. It's really, really handy. And then to get it open, you're just moving this Velcro over there. And this one's just got the two. You've got the ironing board on one side, cutting board on the other. Really, really, really user-friendly. Great size, because sometimes you do need a bigger piece for ironing and a bigger cutting mat. This one is 11 inches by 17. Nice, good size to get that. And obviously your rotary cutter mat has got your 60-degree angle, your 40-degree angle. And if you need your 30-degree angle, you go the other side of that there. There's your 30-degree angle there, there's your 60. So you'd easily be able to do those as well. You've also got it in metric, if you don't want it in imperial. And that goes to 25 centimeters there, 45 centimeters that way. But it just packs up so easily as well. Oh, goodness me, I inhaled the wrong way there. Sorry about that. Forgive me. So even if you no matter how big or small your studio space is, this would fit perfectly down the side of any desk. So if you just had your desk there, you can slide that in. It takes up no room at all. It's great. Now, the one thing most people don't do is use the correct bobbin for their machine. Now, I went through, when I was starting out, I went and bought a whole load of really, really inexpensive bobbins online, put them in my sewing machine, absolutely thought it was perfect, no problem at all. Went to go and have my machine serviced, and ended up finding out that I had messed my machine up quite badly. So I am a huge promoter of people using the correct bobbins in their machine. You pay a little bit extra for them on a bobbin because it saves you money in the long run, because using the right product, making sure that you're getting the right size, even if it's a 1/4 of a millimeter out, you can really cause damage to your machine, depending on how much you're sewing. So what had happened on mine is my bobbin case had started to wear on one side. And what had happened is the bobbins, when I bought them, they weren't completely straight and had caused a burr in the edge of my bobbin case. So for me, I am a firm promoter that I do think that people should be using 100% the bobbins specifically made for your machine. Janome have brought these today. These are 8 £8 for 10 loose plastic bobbins, and they are just the perfect bobbin for your machine, exactly what you need to be using, and that way then you're not going to be using the wrong bobbins with your machine. You can get them cheaper elsewhere to do them, but I don't personally believe that you should be using non-branded bobbins for your machine. Personal choice, you must do what works best for you. But these are brilliant. And they work on the Elna as well. Janome and Elna are the same company, so you'll be able to get those for your Elna as well. Really, really great little bobbins, those. I didn't hear that. Now, I personally have several of these because I have several machines. But what is so great about these little bags is you've got so many different little places to put things. So when I have my sewing machine, as if by magic I had a sewing machine there, you've got your bag here ready to go. You pop your sewing machine in there. You can zip this up beautifully. Now this fits the majority of sewing machines, not all, but it fits the majority of sewing machines. So it's great because when you're lifting it, you've got a nice safe handle to do it in. I keep my manual for 2 or 3 of my machines in the bag with the foot, with the electric cable, with my, I've got a plastic little container that I put all the bits and bobs that come with it. That'll be the spare bobbins, the feet, everything. All fits perfectly in one little bag. And that is $12.99. Now, everything's all stored away absolutely perfectly there. It's great. So if you need to move it around, see, I don't like doing dusting as well. So I leave it in the bag so that the machine doesn't then end up getting dirty and things. So everything's all in one little bag, and you just then can leave it on the side, pack it away nicely, or it's a really lovely colour. It's a very decorative bag. So it's just nice to know that even if you left it on the side of your table, it's all available there in one little space there. So that's available now for $12.99 today. So tomorrow is, or today is the lovely Debbie Shaw's birthday. Tomorrow is her birthday show. So that's what's coming up for tomorrow. I hope you all can join us then, and thank you all so much for being with us today. It's been a great hour. Check out our website for all the products available on our website. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.